Hello, Internet. I hope you're having a spooky Saturday. And thank you so much for popping in. Uh, whether you're here with us live or you're watching this VOD later on YouTube or on Twitch, we're super excited that you're here. Today, our friends from Happily Morose, the Mistress of Misery Ty and Sunshine Owl, are joining us to talk about some ghosts. How's it going, ladies?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm excited to talk about some ghosts and some spooky stuff.
I'm Sunshine. I almost right after you said Sunshine now, I'm like, I'm Sunshine. I almost interrupted you to say that.
Okay, every time you do that, all I can picture is the fucking elf from Disenchantment. I'm Elfo.
I'm Elfo.
That's all I see.
I love it.
She says it the exact same way.
Oh.
I can't help myself.
So I haven't put nameplates over us because I think it's obvious. I do at least. So from left to right, it's me, and Sunshine, then Ty, and obviously there's beautiful photos.
Oh yeah, I think they look so good because we got blurry L. Me
She's
making a weird face.
Look at her. She's got a whiteboard. She has done research.
I did do. Oh shit! I left my whiteboard downstairs. It's okay. I don't need it. No one can see me with my whiteboard. I take a lot of notes on my whiteboard. It's been very
Listen,
helpful.
sometimes you got to. You got to.
You do, and then you can erase it for later.
Exactly.
The ones you can't erase. That's what the string theory is for. The string board thing is for.
Yeah, the conspiracy board. I actually have
Yes.
blurry because
exactly,
Al's a
potato.
cryptid. Yes.
100%.
It's actually no. Tabby Meow made the conspiracy board like this. We've got all the strings and stuff. But yeah, no, I'm really. Oh my god, I've been fucking waiting for this. Our stuff is so. I can't even talk. I'm so fucking excited. Yes, I love when we get together and do these Spooky Saturday segments. They are amazing. Today is a special one though because we're going to be talking about something really cool. Are they real? Phasmo edition. Phasmophobia is a game, obviously. Right now, I think it's exclusive to PC. They recently have done some updates, and they've got everything updated for the Halloween spirit with some cool stuff. We found out there's candy on the maps now as well, on some maps. Chocolate!
I think I scared Combat Dude a little bit when I did that.
He was not prepared. He's like, what the hell's happening? We're feral, accept it.
We are fair.
But no, oh my god, before we get into all of this, I do just want to say, you guys do the Happily Morose stuff. I know you've got some content you're gearing up to release.
Trying.
Yeah, we are full-time working gals, so yeah, we are majorly behind on our stuff. But yeah, no, we're working on it. Actually, I will be doing some editing today, so if anybody's interested in more Bosom Baddies stuff, there will be a video released of us fighting the Ender Dragon in Minecraft with axolotls. I'm not
Leroy
Jenkins.
Jenkins.
I'm not gonna say anything. If you want to know how that turned out, you're going to have to watch it.
You're just gonna have to watch it, my guy. Real quick, I just realized I need to remove, I need to turn off, rather, a chat alert, so that way people aren't, getting stuff for a timer for what I do for spooky games. Because you're not gonna get spooky game stuff here. The music needs to go down. Thank you, my love. Appreciate you. Is that better? Okay, sorry, we had some music situation. It was too loud. We were not loud enough, but I fixed it. Thank you, Zombified Potato. But yeah, if you guys want to see some stuff about history, horror, supernatural, awesome books that you want to know about, absolutely check out Happily Morose. They're on the YouTube. Actually, that's just too loud in my ear in general. Maybe that's why I had it marked up like that. Probably. Yeah, it's fine. I figured it out. Yeah, using your street smarts. I'm really pumped. If you guys ever want any point in any chat to get a link for Happily Morose, it's !cryptid. Because I needed it to be a chat command. Because I love you both so fucking much.
Aw.
I love you too.
You can't see, I'm doing like the big heart with my hands.
I could feel it.
You can feel it. You can
I can
feel
feel
it.
the love.
Exactly. Oh my god. No, so yes, outside of the happily morose content that's coming up, you guys got anything else planned? Any other stuff that's exciting?
I'm gonna try to get back into streaming.
You're like, eventually I will do that. Yes.
I need to do that. I need to actually, because your husband reminded me that I need to finish up Dark Souls.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need to continue with that and just get my ass beaten some more. It's fine.
Listen, just do what I do. Be like, fuck this game and rage quit, and then do something else. Like, I didn't finish Ransack Raccoon because I got fucking mad at it. Which I think speaks a lot about my character. That, like, I've played other games through and through, but, like, that one game, I was like, I hate being arrested. I'm not doing this.
No, there are other games. I will get back into streaming. Yeah, I'm just trying to balance some work-life stuff because of my schedule at the moment.
Yeah, dude, no, I get that, for sure. You guys are, I mean, Al does literally all of the jobs.
I got a lot of jobs.
You do. Like, a sunshine
you
of
got,
many
3
hats.
jobs, bitch. So
Yeah,
She
I'm
got
trying
3
to-
jobs, and that's it. Sorry, I have to do it. I'm
that's it. Like like you should have more.
Yeah.
But you only have 3.
only 3. Only 3.
It's fine.
This is fine. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I'm very excited. If you guys haven't followed Ty, you should. And I know how to do a shout out and everything. Actually I don't. I can't remember how to do it.
I'm a mod. I can shout out myself. I
Thank
think.
you. Please do that. Because I'm a fucking idiot. Like, in my defense, I'm having... Oh my god. Thank you.
Look at
That
that.
looks
Look
so
at that.
professional. They're super cool and you should totally give them your love. You should. Thank you. Thank you, Stream Elements, for understanding how that works. So, today, we are going to be exploring the lore and the content behind the really cool game Phasmophobia. I personally have like 500 hours in this game.
Wow.
Yeah, aren't you like level 1,500 and something?
Yeah. Yeah. Hello, Thrall. Love you. So excited to see you. Also,
Thrall.
also doesn't play games.
I don't. Should I start playing Dreams? Should I
Dreams?
start doing that?
I say she has never streamed. Also, I still can't get over the fact that your name looks like Also Meal.
Yes,
Delicious. You're a snack. That's what you are.
Aw.
Yeah, I think at some point that would be great, even if it's honestly. Yeah, maybe we'll have to get Al into. I think because you have OBS, we can get
I
you.
do.
Listen, as a community, we can all get you on board. Because with the Shadow Guild, I think we have like a niche group of people who is like, do you need to know how to do this? Ask this person. Like, if you need to know how to set up OBS, ask Zombie. If you need to figure out how to like promo tweet, ask Bunny. If you need to learn how to make like pretty shit, ask Archie. If you need to know how to like be super great with your chat, ask Thrall. Like, there's just like all of these different. Together, we will be adults and be so fucking good at it.
Excuse me.
So good. You're excused. No, you're not. Actually, you can't leave. I forbid you.
I burped and like it's a habit to be polite.
Okay.
You're polite.
You're polite. I love you.
Hey, I love y'all too.
Yes, Phasmophobia. If you guys have lived under a rock and you don't know what this game is, it's a game where you're a ghost hunter. I'm addicted to my chat. That's actually, we love that about you, Thrall. Don't you know? We love that about you. But, yeah, so this game, you play ghost hunters. You can do it individually, as a single person, by yourself. Or you can go in a group up to 4, and you go to these different haunted maps. There are a total of, and I'm so very smart, 24 ghost types that you can encounter. The way the UI works is that you can encounter different types of ghosts with different characteristics, but there is core evidence for each type of ghost that you can gather using the tools that are there to determine what kind of ghost it is. However, there is a sanity mechanic where the longer you're in the dark, if the ghost is doing shit around you, you lose your sanity. And if you're crazy enough, the ghost will absolutely fucking kill you, which is iconic. It's a mood. I understand it, you know? I get it. I get it. But today, we're going to be looking at the different ghost types and talking about what they are in the game and what they are in the real world, the real world lore behind these different ghosts, and kind of compare the two and see if the developers did their homework, if what they say makes sense logically, and kind of go from there. I'm personally very pumped to see if we can figure out, are they real Phasmo style. You ready to dive in, ladies?
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So the first one on the list is the spirit.
Ooh, spooky ghost.
Pump me up.
I had that one.
Yeah, that's yours.
You did. You did.
We've gone over this how many times now?
We had a
So many
list.
times, it's hilarious.
Would it help if I tell you what while you're getting your stuff up, if I tell you what the journal is, the journal entry
Oh,
for
yes,
this?
please. I was actually
So
trying to look that up.
I've got it all. I don't panic, ladies. I have all of the because I was doing extensive research last night playing Phasmophobia.
Noise.
That's
Obviously,
why there was like the quotations research. I somehow like spaced on. I'm like, what are you
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about?
Because Cara was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm researching. Obviously, playing this game I play every night. Don't judge me." Um, No, so what I did is I went through and I screen capped every ghost type page, like their stuff, so we could use it today. Actually, I did this many days
Nice.
ago. I just played Phasmophobia last night for spooky shit. I was being a spooky bitch. So, the spirit type is number 1 on the ghost types list. Spirits are very common ghosts. They are very powerful, but passive, only attacking when they need to. They defend their place of death to the utmost degree, killing anyone that is caught overstaying their welcome. Their weakness is that a spirit can be temporarily stopped by burning smudge sticks near them. You can gain evidence to determine that they are spirits by receiving an EMF level 5 reading, um, getting a response on the spirit box, and ghostwriting.
Okay. So the game does get a few things right about the spirit. So we're gonna start with probably what a spirit is. So they are right. Spirits are very common. Like if you look through any culture, anywhere, we all have ghosts. But
Yeah.
and something they do get wrong is though spirits aren't as powerful as we made them out to believe.
I
Like
mean, it depends, I guess, the connotation for spirit. Because if you're looking at the definition of what a spirit is, like Merriam Webster, Wixter, who the fuck is that? Um,
Wixter.
Wixter. No, they define it as a non-physical part of a person, which is in the seat of their emotions and their character, more specifically their soul. But
That's
that's if you're
true.
just looking at the spirit of a person. But I agree with
Well,
you.
good. Well, that's some of the thing that I was feeling like some of the types of ghosts in this game is it's not like the spirit. Is in my thing. I'm like, but spirit could be so much. Spirit's such a broad
Broad
term.
spectrum, absolutely.
it really is. And if you think about all the ghost hauntings, like growing up as a kid, my dad always watched a lot of ghost hunting stuff with me. So whenever they brought up spirits and stuff like that, there were always all these theories. Like one person had a theory that spirits were just the combined energy of a soul that had stayed in that place, and it was like watching a moving picture. The spirit can't interact with you; they're just going about their lives as if they were still alive. And in
Yeah,
that
like a
way, they can't.
residual haunting.
Yes, residual haunting. Thank you. I couldn't even remember the word. So in that sense, they're not very powerful enough to hurt you, but they're just powerful enough to be there and to stay there. Whereas other hauntings, like the spirit, is powerful enough to actively say, "Hey, I'm here. Listen to me." And I don't know if it's so much. Sometimes they're trying to scare you. Sometimes it's just they're lost and need help to get to where they are. Though in most cases, when it comes to a spirit, unlike in the game where they kill you for staying too long, most spirits are very harmless in that regard. Like they'll terrify you for sure, but they can't exactly kill you.
Yeah, I
They're
mean,
the
when you're looking at metaphysical in general, like the term spirit can be applied broad span to like there is spirit here. There is energy here. There is something here, whether it's of human nature, like of human origin, or if it's animals. Like animism and those types of beliefs is very rooted in that everything has spirit. Everything has a soul of some nature.
and going off of that, like, I don't. Again, I'm selling the spirit being so broad of a thing. Like, it could also just mean like tenacity, because like school spirit, where you show
I fucking hated
your.
pep rallies, just to be
I
real.
hated pep rallies. I hated school spirit week. Um, where somebody has a fighting spirit. Like it's, I don't know. It feels like tenacity, or brave, like confidence, something like that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah. So what other stuff do you have on spirits, Al?
I'm trying to think of what else I had because, like I said, it depends on, like you said, Bunny. It depends on your culture, your beliefs, because spirit's such a broad term that it kind of inlays everything around it. But another thing I wanted to mention with spirits is, depending on what your theory is on them, they are this powerful force that's kind of residual in these hauntings. Like, um, like if you go to the tools, like EMF level readers and spirit box are really used in the field in order to try to figure out these hauntings. Like, is there actually a spirit here? Is it haunting this place? Whereas with ghostwriting, I've never seen that used by anyone. Like
So
I've seen we.
I think ghostwriting in the book they have it like in the game they have it where the ghost picks up a pen and writes shit. However, when you're doing and I had the demonologist Crowley on last season
That's right, I remember him.
and we didn't really go into it a lot, but I also kind of touched on this briefly during when Archie was here earlier on this season. Where there is a form of communication with a ghost called spirit writing, which is when a person who is sensitive to the energies out there outside of themselves, they would channel that energy and just start writing. They wouldn't even pay attention to what they're writing, they would just start writing. And the goal is that the spirit, the energy that they're contacting, would move through them to make their writing make sense.
Isn't
Oh,
that how Houdini disproved something?
yes, it is actually. Thank you for bringing that up, Bunny and Ty. Um, Harry Houdini, when he lost his mother, his friend Conan Doyle, Arthur Conan Doyle, the guy who wrote
Arthur
Sherlock.
Conan Doyle. I can't fucking speak today. Yeah, his name is.
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Say it five
Yeah.
times fast though. Hmm? How about them
Yeah, can
apples?
you?
You guys just
Can
need to
you?
try to say it once.
I need an adult. Thank
We need an adult. That is so sad to say.
So, what
Um,
about it? Tell me about Heart.
well, here's the thing. He and his wife were huge spiritualists, especially after their son died. And his wife believed she was a psychic, and she did a lot of ghostwriting like that. Like,
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's wife, not Harry Houdini's.
yep, no, just Arthur's
Thank you
wife.
for
And
clarifying
so,
that.
thank you. Yeah, because I probably was confusing everyone. But when Harry Houdini's mother died, he and his wife were like, we kind of want to communicate with her. Now, he didn't believe in psychics. He's like, I believe they're frauds and they're trying to hurt people. But Arthur and his wife were good friends, so they went to them, and Arthur's wife was like, yes, I can feel her with me, and she starts writing page after page after page of words from his mother, Harry's mother, and she just wouldn't stop. And there were like 5 pages, I think, in total. Harry's looking at them. He thanks her, pulls them, puts them away in his pocket, and leaves. And that's when Harry decides all spiritualists are scammers, and this is all bullshit. Because something you have to know about Harry's mother is she was originally from Hungary. Yeah, that's right. And when she and her husband immigrated here, she chose not to learn English. She chose not to learn how to read or write English, and she spoke little to no English. So when he was reading these letters, they were all in English. And Harry, when he was watching her the entire time, he never even said anything. He
He
just
just let
watched
her.
her.
He just let her. Gave her enough
He,
rope to hang herself with.
yep, he was that kind of petty bitch. He's like, yep, yep, and he let her finish. And then when she was done, he's like, yeah, now I'm gonna go and make all spiritualists suffer. And that's what he did. He would disguise himself, and he would go to these places where spiritualists were holding these big affairs, doing their whole stick.
Yeah.
And he'd be in the crowd, watching. I'm like, okay, how do they do their trick? Because Harry was extremely talented when it came to magic tricks. So he'd wait a
Yes.
little while, figure it out, and then, ha, it is I, Harry! And he did spunk them right there in front of the crowd, like, these guys are scammers.
Absolutely,
Because
completely wrecking their fucking hustle.
he would. That's what he would do. And here's the thing, he himself really wanted to believe that there was a spiritualist out there that could help him communicate to the dead. Because he, like I said, he was a big mama's boy, and he wanted to see his mother,
I
even
hear
hear
he
her
was
one last
somewhat of a
time.
magician. Yes, potato.
Yes. And funny enough, before he died, he and his wife actually had code words for each other. So when he died, she would go to spiritualist still, and she'd be like, "Oh, hey, can you go with the husband?" They're like, "Yes," and she's like, "Okay, now the code word. It's this. That's not my code word. That's not my husband's code word. Like, come
So
on,
she
bitch."
continued the petty for him?
She did,
That's
because
so beautiful!
it really is. And again, it's one of those things of, yes, they were being totally petty on this, but I think they both also wanted to believe that somehow, some way, they could always see each other again. Whoever died first, like, they had a code word because there was hope there. Like, even after I die, I want you to know I still love you. But it never happened. Like, every spiritualist she went to, none of them could ever give her the code word.
Al and I actually joke about that. Like, if I die first, she's gonna go to somebody and they're gonna be like, "Oh yes, I can feel her. She says she misses you and she loves you."
That's a
That's
lie.
not Kitty, I know it. And then you know, if she comes across one like, "Oh, she's saying things I don't want to repeat." No,
Repeat
tell
it.
me.
Tell me everything. You are speaking to her.
She's saying "fuck you, you dumb bitch." Oh my god, Kitty.
Kitty! I knew you were here. Oh my god. Yes. I mean, there are definitely, I will say this as a believer, there are definitely spiritualists out there that are legit. Now, these people are not gonna come to you and be like, "Hey, I heard you got a really big payout from that 401k and from those death benefits. I would like to tell you about from your husband's perspective or whatever." Like, they're not gonna seek out stuff like that.
Excuse me.
But they do exist. They are them out there that are legit. But in my experience, they're not going to try to fleece you for money. There are a lot of con artists in that respect who will try to fleece you. But there are those out there that I believe do have gifts, who do reach spirit. But yeah, it's very.
You know, I totally 100% agree, and unfortunately, there's enough fakers out there, like with Harry Saw, who are just scamming people who are in times of grief, all because they know they can, because these people want to believe they can talk to their loved ones one last time. So when you do find the real deal, it's such an amazing thing because they can actually communicate. And sometimes they're like, "No, this person's already passed on," and a lot of spirits have passed on, and
It
that's why
definitely.
they're so
Yeah.
So it's one of those hard things where people are like, "Oh, there's spirits here. Like, this is definitely haunted," because that could also be. And again, I'm a huge believer, but it could also be our vivid imaginations willing us to believe there's something here when there might not be anything there. And that's another thing about saying with spirits is our own souls is powerful enough that can maybe project things that we want to believe being there but aren't. And I remember that was a theory Dad and I talked about a lot when I was a kid. Because I would sometimes think, I'm like, "Oh, I bet that house is haunted, it has spirits," and Dad's like, nah, I'm pretty sure there's not. You'll know if you ever get to a haunted house. It's like,
No, you for
that's
sure will.
ominous. Yeah, which is true. He grew up in a haunted house, so he knows.
He's like, "You'll fucking know, trust me.
Yeah.
You'll know." I do one thing I don't like about the game. And another thing is I love this game, but they
Oh,
have
it's
the
fun.
smudge stick thing, which is technically a weakness of the spirit. Like, I don't like the smudge sticks, which is, you know, very commonplace. We're like, yeah, smudge sticks, but the act of smudging isn't. It's a practice used by indigenous peoples. Now, again, this is me being like that bitch who's like, I don't like this because it's the wrong word, because I'm very particular about phrasing and words and having the phrases that we use, the words that we use, have meaning. If they would call it something else, like incense, I'd be fine with that. But smudge, for me, it's a no-go. But yeah, I do like how they've incorporated this very broad term into a specific ghost type.
Which is really fun to play, and it's interesting. Unfortunately, it's not as legit, like, in real life as it is in the game. So if I had to scale it, I'd probably say 5 out of 10. Not bad, guys.
We're gonna do a scale. Al,
Go
you just
scale.
we're gonna ghost scale this. We're gonna give it
5 out of 10
however
spookums.
however
Yes.
out of 10 spookums. So the spirit
I love
rates
it.
a 5 out of 10 spookums.
Yes.
Okay.
No, that's exactly it, Potato. It's just the house settling. Every time I hear a weird sound, it's either the house or the cats.
I loved that show Ghost Hunters, by the way, because it was literally a general contractor and a plumber who'd be like, there might be ghosts here, or maybe like you just need a service call. We're gonna check your shit, check your wiring. Like we hired this one dude who his only thing that he does is electrical work, but he's on our team and we're gonna check your shit out first to make sure it's not that. And there was one location they went to where they're like, hey, so you had all of this stuff on your security cameras and all this crazy stuff, but actually it's because this board was loose, so it caused the door to open. We fixed it for you. Here's the invoice. I loved that so fucking much.
That's amazing.
I loved
and that's
that
part
shit.
of the reason Kyle and I will watch those like ghosts caught on camera videos, and we
Mhm.
will sit there and pick it apart and be like, okay, this is how they could have done it. This is how they could have faked it, and just pick it apart.
Yeah, because I mean, there is spirit out there. There are disembodied, energies from people who are no longer with us physically out there. I believe that 150,000%. But when you're already feeling spooky, just like you said, Al, your mind is gonna play tricks on you. You're gonna
Oh, for sure.
equate it to like crazy supernatural. But there's a saying: if you see hoof prints in the mud, you shouldn't automatically assume it's a zebra. It might just be a horse.
I mean, unless you live in an area where zebras
Unless
are
you're
abundant.
around where zebras are.
Yeah. That actually makes me think, back in high school I was in a psychology class, and our teacher, he did like ghost hunting stuff because he was like cynical but not cynical. Like he wanted to try to prove it scientifically and actually have proof. He wasn't just like, oh, I believe kind of thing. And so for one psychology class, we went to a opera house, or like one of the opera houses here locally that's supposedly quote unquote haunted, and we went around it in the dark. Like it was late, it was in the fall, and we did it later in the day, so it was like nighttime, so extra spookums.
Extra spookums.
And part of the reason he did it for psychology is like, okay, if you tell your brain that you're scared, you're gonna notice things. Like for example, we were walking around, and at one point he said that sometimes when you feel a ghost present, it feels like you walked into a cobweb. And then suddenly 3 girls were like, oh, something just touched my face. I felt like, and I'm like, mm-hmm.
So he placeboed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then halfway through, we watched a little bit of a horror movie, and then we walked around the place again to like see if that affected us.
I love that. I love that whole idea.
Oh, he was fun. I love that teacher. He was hilarious.
He's retired now, but that makes sense because he's old.
Because he's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
He's still alive.
Or
Last
is
I
he?
knew.
Oh. Okay, so spirits, we've got 5 out of 10 spookums. Let's go to the next one, which we have was mine to research.
The Wraith.
The Wraith. So, in the Phasmophobia book, in the journal, wraiths are one of the most dangerous ghosts you will find. It is also the only known ghost that has the ability of flight, and has sometimes been known to travel through walls. Its strength: wraiths almost never touch the ground, meaning it can't be tracked by footsteps. Weakness is that wraiths have a toxic reaction to salt. You can obtain evidence to determine it is a wraith by getting an EMF level 5, getting a response on the spirit box, and seeing the ghost in the DOTS projector. A DOTS projector it's a little machine that puts out an array of green lights or red lights depending on what one you get. And the idea is that when an apparition walks through it, even if you can't see the apparition, just them moving through the dots, you'd be able to see the silhouette of the ghost. Or the wraith in this matter. I really like this just because it's got the toxic reaction to salt. Because it really gives me Supernatural vibes where they're like, Sammy, gotta put a ring of salt down so it can't touch you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
love that fucking show. I really do. Jensen Ackles is an absolute just unit. But yeah, so Merriam-Webster defines a wraith as a ghost or a ghost-like image of someone, especially one seen shortly before or after their death. And I found that interesting because of the before. The fact that you would see a ghost before it was a ghost is fucking mind-blowing to me, personally. I think that's wild. Because that kind of lends to that idea of spirit, building off of that, where a spirit is a part of a person's energy, a part of that soul, and it's a broad term. So in part of the wraith is that person's soul or that piece of their energy is extended from their physical body while they're still alive, and it really makes me think about like astral projection and stuff like that.
That is interesting. It kind of leads me in to think as well, just in general with the phasmophobia thing. It seems like their first few ghosts that they have in the list, like spirit, wraith, mine's gonna be phantom, like they're all kind of general terms
Analogous to
for
each other,
a
almost.
ghost. You know, they're almost interchangeable. And I find that interesting that they're like, okay, well, we need some different ones, so we'll give them very specific traits.
Yeah.
I'm like, huh.
No,
I would nothing against the developers. I think it's great. I was like, huh, that's interesting.
that is now something you said, Bunny, that spirit with the wraith, it's usually seen before one's death. Made me think of the story my dad used to tell me about Abraham Lincoln. And I don't know if this would have any leeway into what you were saying.
It's now
But
canon.
according-
Abraham Lincoln is a wraith. Continue. It's canon.
So, according to the tale, just a few days before his assassination, he shared with a small group of people, one of whom was his wife, that he kept having this reoccurring dream where he walked into the east room of the White House, and there's a covered corpse there, and just surrounded by mourners, soldiers, and everything. And he starts getting closer, and he asks somebody, "Who's lying there?" And they said, "It's the president. The president has been murdered, or the president has been assassinated, or something like that." And he looks over, and he, according to my dad, he sees himself lying there dead, and he wakes up with panic, of course. And a lot of people, like I think one of his wives was, I think it was his wife, because she was also very heavy into spiritualism.
Yeah.
Spiritualism was like,
Mary
"Oh my
Todd
God,
was a big supporter of all spookums.
She really was. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're dreaming of your death. You're gonna die." And Abe's just like, sure. And then he died. So I wonder if that kind of ties into it. Like, if before they die, if they're seeing, like you said, apparitions of themselves before, or their own deaths, really.
Like, almost like some preternatural information, or... Oh, shit! Thank you so much for the raid, Shadow! How was your stream? I know how to shout out, maybe. Hold on, I think
can do it.
Thank you.
This is why we have time.
I'm fucking invalid. Like, I can't fucking do it. Yes, it's also knowledge
exactly,
that Abraham Lincoln was a vampire hunter.
God, that movie was so shit.
Hello, Raiders. Welcome. If this is your first, if you're just new to this, the Bosom Baddies, today we're having a Just Chatting segment about the ghost types and phasmophobia and comparing them to the lore in real world. Very excited you're here, Shadow. Thank you so much for the raid. If you need to take a few minutes, get a snack, get some water, do a bio break, like, absolutely take care of yourself. Drink some water, hoes. All of you. Hydrate for everyone.
Or perish.
Hi, I'm new. Are you Potato? Shadow, I love you. Thank you so much for the raid. I'm very excited. We were talking about wraiths.
Yes.
Yes, because I have it up. I literally have a list up that I'm like going through. That way I don't get distracted. I'm still gonna get distracted. No, the whole thing about seeing your death. I am gonna drink water. Fine. I said it for everybody else, zombie, not me. I already hydrated, but I'll do it again.
I'm exempt from the rule. Thank you.
I don't think that's how it works.
Yeah, that's for everyone else. Duh. No. So wraiths. Yeah. It's the whole idea that in life, Abraham Lincoln was a vampire hunter. In death, he was a wraith. The whole idea of this is now canon in my brain. My brain has done this. So the idea of being able to see one's death, to have that precognition, and that's very oof.
That's
That's so
terrifying, man.
That is wild. That's some wild
Do you
shit.
think if he had taken it more seriously, there was a possibility he could have prevented his own death?
You know, I don't know because he never saw how he died. He just knew he died. And something you gotta remember is he didn't really respect his wife too much. So when she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're gonna die," he was like,
No,
"Yeah, I knew it
that's
was all
why I'm
just a dream."
saying if he took it seriously,
Seriously, could he have prevented it? You know,
might
I
even
don't.
still be alive today.
Hey, maybe it's hard to say because again, he
Wait,
didn't know
no,
how
he
died.
wouldn't. Y'all are
No,
fucking. Hold on.
No, I know. Potato's just trolling.
I had to do maths. It hurts me to do it, but I was like, wait a minute. Wait a
In
minute.
a completely different note, he is credited to be one of the first people to do a haymaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out that video in Happily Morosa's. They've got the Hunks of History video. Which I completely agree with. Yes.
Where Al talks about the different buff men of history. Who do you bring up? You bring up Houdini, Lincoln, and Teddy?
Roosevelt. Yeah.
Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy. Yeah, that was such a cringe video. It was my
I
first
love
one.
that. I
Very,
can't wait for
very
people to
cringe.
enjoy that in their lives. Thank you for doing the alert, the thingy command. Thank you, commands.
Thank
That's
you.
what it is. Brain. So good. Yeah, so wraiths, you see the term wraith used in a lot of different spooky aspects, not just in this game, but you see it in D&D. There's the wraiths. You see it in a lot of different. I'm just using D&D as an example because we played D&D last night. But you know, a lot of the times when people are using the term wraith to to talk about a spirit, it's got a very evil connotation or like a negative connotation. Like this whole concept that um, it's an evil spirit. It's one that has unfinished business. It's here to fuck shit up.
Or kill hobbits.
Yeah, and it's you're right. You
I mean,
thought
she's
you
not wrong.
you thought
the
you
ring
could
race.
chill and camp on Weathertop? Not today.
Fuck your pillows.
like, no, Witch King Agmar, don't. What are you doing? I'm gonna stab him. No, you're not. I'm gonna stab him. Sorry, I'm having a moment, having palpitations because we talked about Teddy Roosevelt. Shouldn't have brought it up. Look what you've done. But it's so weird because
Look at my choices.
look at my life. Look at my choices. Absolutely. But it's so funny because wraiths often are described as like skeletal figures that are like wearing like tattered robes and shit. And they're very fast and they're ready. You don't really see them flying so much as floating. Like when you're looking at media that's depicting wraiths, they're not walking around, they're floating. And I thought that was an interesting thing. That's all I've got. For me personally, I would rate a wraith probably about, I want to say like 6 out of 10 spookums.
No, yeah, I'd give it 6 out of 10. They're interesting.
Do you
And
have
like
any?
you said,
Oh, I was gonna say, do you ladies have any final words on the wraith?
Like its name.
its name. I love how it was in The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
You are such a fucking slut for anything Lord of the Rings, my guy.
I really am.
I get it. I
See? Buddy got me.
wholeheartedly get it. Wholeheartedly get it.
Excuse me. That's my girl.
That's my girl. Yes. Okay, so I think we're, brother, unless you disagree, I think we're rating the wraith 6 out of 10 spookums.
It's fine with me.
Okay.
On to the next one.
And the next one.
It's me.
It's you.
It's you. Jinx.
Hey Archie, good morning. Welcome.
So yeah, so I have the Phantom. Brother, if you would like to read the excerpt for
You
that.
know I will. So in the journal in Phasmophobia, a phantom is a ghost that can possess the living, inducing fear into those around it. They are most commonly summoned from Ouija boards. Luigi boards, for those of you who aren't savvy. Um, their strength as looking at the phantom will drop your sanity considerably. The weakness is that taking a photo of a phantom will make it temporarily disappear. You can determine it's a phantom with the evidence from a spirit box, finding fingerprints, which in the game is like you push a black light onto a surface and you would see like an ectoplasm like handprint. Or seeing the evidence through the dots projector. And it's really funny. So the definition of term phantom, it is defined as a ghost, and that's it.
Exactly. No, that is exactly it.
Ghost.
So, I looked it up, and the first couple things I saw when I just Googled Phantom was a movie that was made in 2013, and
Ooh.
also a Korean drama.
Ooh, is a Korean drama any good?
I don't know. I haven't watched it. I've only watched a couple of Korean dramas. Anyway, so
We
yeah,
actually
I
need
looked
to
up
know,
the
though.
actual definition
We do.
of a phantom is just a ghost. Like, I tried looking up something like deeper, and it's a ghost. I'm like, okay, that's fucking cool. Thanks for that. And I guess that makes sense because like when people say phantom, it does mean like ghostly and something that's not really there. Like if you think about people who lose a limb and like say their arm, but their arm hurts, it's a phantom pain. Like they can almost still feel the arm even though the arm is gone. And I don't know, it just makes like, or anything that has like, okay, it was there, but it's not, it's a phantom.
Yeah.
There's no like actual, it's kind of like spirit, but less so.
It's
Like,
a
even
less structured, sweeping generalization.
Exactly. Like phantom is basically anything that you like can feel or have a sense of that's just not there. And I wish like I had better examples of it. I tried Googling shit and like I didn't find much. Most of it was just media stuff that like was titled Phantom or
Danny
Phantom this,
Phantom.
Phantom that.
Danny
So it could be
Phantom was
something-
just 14.
Yeah, exactly.
When parents built a very strange machine, I'm so
Designed to view a world unseen.
Thank you,
And
Disney. Look what,
democracy is Danny
look what
Phantom.
you've done. Look what you've done.
I'm pretty sure that was Cartoon Network. No, that was Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. Yeah. So
It
it's
will all
probably
be
one of those
owned
things
by
that-
it'll all be owned by the mouse. Let's be real.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
valid, yeah.
that's true. That's true. So really, phantom's probably something that came about with media, kind of like Phantom of the Opera. You know, it's a word that kind of
It's basically just a synonym for ghost.
ghosty.
Yeah, that's literally its definition, a ghost. Which is wild to me that like you look at the definitions of all these other ghost types and they've got at least some substance to it, and then phantom is like, nah.
It ghost.
It's
and,
ghost.
Like, I guess it kind of makes sense because like phantom, like it's kind of like if somebody it sounds a bit more lyrical, I guess, than just ghost. Like Ghost of the Opera doesn't sound as good as Phantom of the Opera. The
That's
Phantom
facts.
toll booth is better than the Ghost toll booth.
And
And maybe
more oomph.
it maybe because like ghost is more connotated with somebody who's dead, like it's a dead person, whereas phantom could be anything that's incorporeal.
Just a ghost. You know me. I mean, I do like that its weakness in phasmophobia is that when you take a photo of it, it fucks right off.
It's camera shy, man.
Like, it's like, I know there's a ghost here, guys. I'm gonna take a photo of it. And then, like, nothing.
Yeah, because it doesn't show up in the picture.
No.
Yeah, the ghost is like, Lush, don't picture me. Potato actually posted something real quick.
I do see that. D&D lore states a phantom is a faded, translucent spirit that plays out the scene of their death over and over again like a sensory imprint on the world. Yeah, and so that's probably kind of, yeah.
It's like a residual
like
haunting.
A phantom pain kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's just a different definition of a spirit.
Or
We see you, Phantom. Try and be sneaky, trick us into thinking stuff.
We know. So how many ghosts would we rate, or spookums would we rate this ghost?
3.
Personally,
Solid
yeah,
3.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's a 3 out of 10 spookums.
I was just thinking that, like 3.5, 4.
You're too kind, Al. It's a 3 in my mind.
It's a
That's
3.
all. That's all they get. You
Okay,
want me to
we're
be
down
spooked?
for it.
You need to put more effort into it. Definitions.
Oh, Archie, that's way too kind. 4 out of 10? Nah, it's a 3.
It's a
3,
solid
everyone.
3.
Sorry, I
EMF
was
level
just
3.
confused because I was hearing weird noises, and apparently it's Marky that is snoring. So
Aww,
Oh,
the baby snoring.
what a beauty. What a beaut.
I always love hearing him. He's such a sweet boy.
it's not a purr; it's a like it's a little whiny. I was like, what the fuck is that sound? And then I look over and I'm like, oh, he's snoring.
That's my son!
Can I get the microphone close to him? Just a second.
Internet, we're
She's
about
gonna-
to be
she's
treated.
gonna love it. Yay.
I can't hear him. Where is he?
Where's the baby?
Of course, I move the microphone and he stops.
Aw, come on, Marky. Don't be shy now.
You're pulling a phantom on us.
Hey! Nice. Hand clap there.
Good job. Good job! Good
Great
soup.
job.
Okay, so Phantom, 3 out of 10 spookums.
Yeah, like I said, that was my first one. I'm like, of course, my first one. There's fucking nothing about it.
Yeah. Dude, I hear you. I hear you.
You're
Okay.
I'm snoring again. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, so next on the list we have Poltergeist.
Ooh.
Believe that's you, Al.
It is. Take it away, buddy.
Wait, no,
Let's
it's you.
Oh, yeah,
It's
it's
you.
Oh, yeah.
Why would Bunny say, "Oh, it's you" when referring to herself? Oh my god, this is why you make me want to punch babies.
Fun babies.
Yeah,
Stop
I want to get
it!
Out of this
I'm gonna
world
pee.
before they can
Stop it.
experience the
Stop.
stupidity.
Stop! Oh, okay.
It was for the big dumb.
It's okay. You're
So-
beautiful and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. So, we'll start with what? Blah, 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 blah.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow. Yes. We'll start with what Phasmophobia says that Poltergeist is.
Okay.
So,
It's
okay.
so Poltergeist is in the book is one of the most famous ghosts. The Poltergeist is known to manipulate objects around it to spread fear into its victims. Its strengths is that Poltergeist can throw multiple objects at once and with great force. Its weakness, with nothing to throw, Poltergeists become powerless. You can determine it's a Poltergeist by getting evidence on the spirit box, seeing fingerprints, and ghost writing.
And the definition for a poltergeist: a ghost or supernatural being supposedly responsible for physical disturbances, such as loud noises and objects being thrown around, just like you said. And something that I feel like Phasmophobia did get right is they are extremely famous. Like, how many people here remember that Poltergeist movie that came out back in the day?
Which one, the original or the remake?
The original. Like, that one scared me as a
Dude.
kid.
Oh my, do you know what okay, so there was a lot of crazy shit that happened on site with that, and everybody kept saying it was a cursed set. And later on, it was found out that the dudes who were getting the props and shit together, they were supposed to get like fake skeletons or whatever to like have in one scene, but they were
They got-
very low budget, so they just straight up dug up bodies.
Oh
And
my god!
They just had a bunch of like actual skeleton, like people. They had people just thrown in there. So, and they didn't tell some of the people in the scenes that like you're gonna have a skeleton, like a real ass skeleton there. And then like the fear in some of those scenes from the protagonist, from the girl, that was legit fear because she had no idea that shit was about to happen.
I felt so bad for that little actress. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I
Honestly,
can't watch
and
that movie.
I'm not for scarring kids. I'm gonna preface this with that. But in some movies, it's good not to tell your actors what's going on.
But for children, you should give them a heads up.
Nah, it's fine. But for example, in Alien, the director did not tell anybody that the alien was gonna burst out of the chest.
Oh,
like
the
that.
chest burster scene. Yeah.
So all the reactions are real.
Didn't one of
And
the dudes faint?
Yeah. and so I think like that's amazing. Like, obviously, for kids, you should be able to be like, okay, hey, this is what's gonna happen. It's like the kid that played Danny in The Shining. They didn't tell him all the other like creepy shit. He thought it was until he was an adult.
he thought it was just a really boring movie about a family that's in a hotel. He didn't know about all the other scary stuff that was going on. He had no idea because they didn't tell him, because they didn't want him to freak out or anything.
That's Stanley Kubrick. We love you. We stan you here.
Yeah.
Zombie said, a shovel is cheaper than a realistic fake skeleton.
I mean, he's not wrong.
I mean,
You're not
they said
wrong!
Back in the day when they needed doctors, and they're like, "Hey, we need bodies to test on when we're becoming doctors. We'll just
Birkin something. There were the serial killers who they were doing the grave robbery thing to make money, and then they were like, man, it's hard to get, like, you get paid more the fresher the corpse is. Let's just kill people. That was a wild situation.
I mean, from a business standpoint, it's valid.
It's valid. Like, I can't knock your hustle, but also that's super fucked up. But yeah, so poltergeists. So the term poltergeist, like the name itself, like it literally, if you it's German. It's a noisy spirit. That's it.
Mhm.
Noisy spirit.
Which makes sense, because I feel like Al was saying, I feel like Phasmophobia did a good job with that, because those are the ones that are constantly throwing shit, like, all the time. And if we're having a hard time getting evidence, those are the ones where we can just pile a bunch of shit in, like, the middle of the floor where they are, have a camera point at it, and just wait, and eventually they'll kick it.
Like, they will go hog wild for that shit.
They're like, this shit's here? Nah, bitch.
It never occurred to me that if you take all the stuff away from it, that it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Even though it says it in the book, like playing the games, I've never once thought to just take all the shit out of the room.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't really read the journal.
That's
when it's
fair.
like, hey, I do it sometimes.
Like when we play
like,
Nightmare, I read the journal so I can big brain it.
Yeah, or yeah, like that time we were playing with Keenan, and he's like, "Hey, why are you here?" And it went revenge. And I'm like, "Oh, it's this one, because this one does revenge."
That was that was a smart move. Keenan was brilliant in that gameplay. That was amazing.
Excellent work, everyone. But yeah, no, I feel like Phasmo really hit the nail on the head with Poltergeist. Because if you look at folklore from around the world, it's all the same thing of everyone agrees. These spirits are meant to harass and torment you. And they do it by terrifying you by moving shit around or just being incredibly loud and noisy. They're like that roommate that really annoys you. They're like, I'm gonna make your life miserable. Like,
Did you think you put the peanut butter here? No, you didn't.
I didn't.
Yeet! That's real. That's real.
Yeah, and it really is. So I felt like they nailed Poltergeist right on the head. Again, I don't understand how the fingerprints work, because I've never seen in like TV, like in a lot of the ghost hunting shows that I watch, I've never seen them look for fingerprints. So I don't know how that works.
I think the idea is based on like the idea of ectoplasm, that these ghosts secrete something by being ghosts, and that you could track it, and then adding the blue light to it. It's like when you go to a sketch ass hotel and you bring a blue light with you, and then you're like, Jesus, I cannot sleep in this room. Like splooge everywhere. I'm assuming that that's what that's about.
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does, but I will say this. I really do feel like for Spookums, I would say 10 out of 10, because they really nailed what a poltergeist is, what it does. And they're right. Like, I'm looking at some of these most famous cases for a poltergeist, and hi Curly. And there's so many here, so I have to agree with them. There you go. Go on. It just, like, there's too much of poltergeist. Like, there's cases going back to the 1600 of incidents where homes were being haunted by spirits.
I'm willing to give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, you think?
Just because.
I was thinking 9.
All right, let's split the difference and go 9, because that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Poltergeist, 9 out of 10 spookums.
Good.
Can't recommend, because we don't want you to have to deal with that. All I'm thinking is like a noisy neighbor, like where you're like, oh my god, they're stomping around and just throwing, like, what are they doing up there? And you go up there and it's like, no one's lived here for 30 years.
Spooky.
Spooky. No, it was actually just a squatter. It's
That
just
was
a
more
squatter.
terrifying. Oh,
Or
man.
the neighbors I used to live under.
That actually reminds me of a cold case where it was an older gentleman that was found murdered in his house, and everyone kind of thought course, he thought there was a ghost living in his house, and they actually eventually, like, I think it was a year after his death, they realized he had a squatter living up in the attic basement.
I
Not the
hate
attic basement.
The attic basement.
What do you call that when you're in the attic and it's like a little
Crawl
a cove?
space.
I think
It's a
yes,
crawl
crawl
space.
Yes. I was thinking of a basement because most basements have crawl spaces. But basically, he was sleeping in there and living
What
up there.
basement? I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you real quick. What basement has a crawl space?
Ours
Most
is a crawl
attics-
space. Ours is a crawl space.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
okay. It's either is a crawl space or it is a basement. There's no. It has a crawl space.
I mean, the one at the shop at the store, Woken store, has like a little crawl space
Where?
in the garage portion. Like if you go downstairs. Well, I guess that isn't really a basement, is it? I always thought it was.
You mean
Don't
back
worry
where the
about it.
bottles are?
Yeah.
Yeah, that by definition is a crawl space. It's not a basement.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry
It's,
about it.
that's true.
But
I don't have
anyway, so
anything
he-
below my house. We are on a flat foundation. So you'll never have to deal with a potential attic basement crawl space situation. I hate
That's
those
good.
stories, by the way, of like
Me too.
there's someone hiding in your, like, in my last, when we lived last before we moved here, there is a crawl space off of above the kitchen, and like in parts of the house there's crawl space, and there's like a couple of places where you can get into the house from the crawl space. And whenever I'd hear a noise, I'd be like, there's someone up there and they're gonna kill me, but I'll kill them first. Like, I would get super fucking defensive about it, and Zombie would be like, babe, it's just a raccoon with knives, chill. And he thought he was being funny, and I'm like, that's actually terrifying as well.
They do have little hands.
Little hands.
They're so
Oh,
cute.
I love them. So cute.
They are.
Um,
So hold on, I'll be right back, ladies.
No
So
worries.
that's what I'm
Curly
thinking
is
about it.
actually possessed right now.
I tell you, by her dead grandmother.
We have about 2.5 feet of headroom that spans the whole house. Yeah, for that thing. We can also have a vaulted ceiling, so most of it's not accessible. Only center of the house. 3.5 in some spaces. I don't know. I haven't been underneath the house. I don't want to. It's not my job. It's just flat out not my job.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Ain't nobody got time for this. So
I
while she's
technically have a crawl space underneath my house, but my house is a trailer.
yeah, I mean that still counts in my mind. That still counts because you would have to crawl under there.
Yeah, but I've never been under there. There's been animals under there.
That's an awful way to talk about your boyfriend.
Fucking dead dweller.
What?
Oh yeah, you never heard me call him that?
No! Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Let's take a moment from spooky. I want to know what's happening here. Tell me everything. It's none of my
He
business.
sits in his little man cave, all the lights off, with just the light from the computer, huddled up in his blanket. And he does it so much that I'm like, come on, you gotta go outside. Even his friends call him a den dweller.
Oh shit, am I a den dweller? Is that what a
You-
den dweller? Am I a den dweller, babe? I think I...
Do you at least have your lights on?
Yeah, I have my lights on.
And then you're fine. It's not as bad. His lights are never on. Oh, potato, not answering is answer enough.
Listen, it's fine. I'm cute. Look at my life. Look at my choices. Bitch, you live in a cave. Absolutely. I do. This is fine. It's
So,
like
potato, you are to Bunny is what I am to Kyle.
he makes sure I eat food. He brought me coffee,
I
which
had
is
my-
bean soup.
my pumpkin spice latte today.
Can you agree with me real quick before Al gets back?
The
Coffee is food.
soup?
Coffee is food, right?
It is no.
Hear me out.
It's a drink.
Okay, how would you define a soup?
Broth. It has to be heartier. There is a difference between food.
Thank
and
you,
drink.
Shadow. Thank you. It's
No,
food.
don't encourage this. He always disagrees with me.
Listen, it's beans, and it's bean juice. Ergo, it could be considered a broth, which some people would just outright call a soup.
Okay, so is almond milk a food?
Yeah,
Is everything a food then?
Yes.
maybe.
How are you? You're not even in this conversation. You shut up. Yes,
I think
thank you,
it's-
Archie. Then technically everything you drink is a food. Anything you consume is food.
Yeah.
But that's not how it works. Because
Are you not eating?
you can go a couple weeks without food, but you cannot go, you can only go a couple days without water.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
So technically, if you think about it that way, food and drink is not the same.
But it could be.
But it's no.
But it could be. In your coffee burgers.
What the fuck's a coffee burger?
Oh no, it's like when you spice the meat with espresso.
Ah, okay. Then that's a seasoning. It's still not a food.
But Eric, but seasonings could be considered food. Would you consider cinnamon a food?
Only for eating the actual stick.
All right, let's put a pin in this. Let's go on more spooky shit.
This is gonna be a whole ass thing.
Yeah, that's its own
Really
thing.
is.
So mine's next. I got the Banshee, which I know Innocent was very adamant. She's like, I need you to make sure that everyone knows, and I'm gonna. So a Banshee in the book is the singing siren, known for attracting its victims through song. It has been known to single out its prey before making a killing blow. The strength is that a Banshee will weaken their target before striking. The weakness is that a Banshee can sometimes be heard screaming with a parabolic microphone. Evidence is that you'll get fingerprints. You will see ghost orbs, which is when you're looking through a camera and a little orb that you couldn't see with your naked eye is on the camera. And watching the apparition go through dots, the dots projector. If you're getting water from food, then you're technically getting water. Okay. We've been derailed. But yeah, so Banshee, interesting. It's very interesting how Phasmophobia has this laid out. And I do have beef with it. I have beef with it.
But
I have a lot of beef with it. So if you're looking at the base definition of a Banshee, it is Irish legend, it's folklore, that it's a female spirit whose wailing warns of an impending death in the house. Not that it specifically attacks you, but that it's a harbinger of what's to come. That if you hear a Banshee scream, someone in your house is going to die. Ruin will befall your house. Something bad will happen. But they're not necessarily the thing that's going to be bad, per se.
So in that regard, real quick, is it similar to a wraith a little bit, where if you see a wraith beforehand, it's like a warning?
I would absolutely agree with that. I would agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. I have a few beefs. I can understand why the game would have it not be a gender-specific role. However, in folklore, a banshee is always the sounds of a woman. It's always a woman, which having a gender neutral, I'm fine with. What I do have a problem with is that it's worded on the journal thing that it's supposed to, the song is supposed to be like a siren song attracting you, when that's not at all what the lore says. A banshee isn't, it's warning you, not saying, come here, daddy, you know?
And it's like, it's a singing, in the journal saying it's a singing siren. No, there is a difference between a siren and a banshee.
Absolutely.
Completely different things.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Look at the mythology. Like, a lot of Irish families had their own fucking banshees. Like, sometimes they were good. Like, they're like, oh, hey, something has to happen. You know, harbingers of, you know, still harbingers of bad news, but, you know, to protect the family. And other times they had, like, bad banshees who were like, yeah, one day all of you. Like, so when I first played Phasma, I'm like, I'm so excited. And then to learn what they were talking about for a banshee, I'm like, what? This is fucking bullshit. This isn't my banshee.
I will say, when we first started talking about the ghost, I looked up banshee because I was doing it in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
And it like one of its literal translations is "woman of the fairy mound."
Yep.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next point. You heard somebody call daddy. Thrall, hello. Let me
Sorry.
keep myself composed. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, but no, to me it's wild. That's a very interesting. Like, I understand the way this is worded is how it's phrased in the game and how it works in the game. The game mechanic of a banshee is that a banshee, the group of you go in, the banshee will pick one of you. You are its target. It will hunt based on your sanity, not the group's sanity, but your sanity. So if you're crazy, everybody about to catch these hands.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that is also another thing that leads me to another thing. Chica, you remember that show we used to watch, Teen Wolf?
Yes.
Remember when they had like the main, like one of the characters, I can't remember her name, be a banshee?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Like we stopped watching almost immediately after that.
Yeah, they didn't do it right.
They did it wrong, and they should feel
It's
bad.
so wrong. Like she obviously was still alive, and her scream could like incapacitate people. It was just.
It was bad. I mean, yeah, hearing a banshee scream will like it's terrifying, right? It's like it will paralyze you, but it did. Like I said, Teen Wolf just messed up a lot of things.
Well, a lot
Yeah.
of pop culture gets the banshee thing wrong.
They do. They
Because
really
they
do.
try to make it something it's not. And I do see a lot of pop culture references where they do equate a banshee to a siren. I mean, and honestly, it sucks for the idea of a siren because in the mythos, a siren is a bird woman who's trying to lure you so she can eat you and feed you to her young.
Yeah, because that's another thing that's people do a lot of too. They're like, oh, a siren, it's similar to a mermaid. Actually, no.
No, and it's not like they're trying to romanticize you. It's like they're telling you things you want to hear. Like they have absolute knowledge. So whatever you want to know, they know. Like, what do you think
you
of
know
this
how
is
to
like?
Back to the banshee real quick. I will say in pop culture, the closest one I've ever seen get it correct was the Spiderwick Chronicles.
Yes, that's scary.
Because they heard a banshee and it was foretelling a death. It wasn't like
the ultimate player.
And as honestly, from my perspective, a lot of the Spiderwick Chronicles, they do very well sticking with actual lore.
They did it right.
It's, and when I've seen, what was it? I think it was a show. It was a show. Alyssa Milano. Don't tell me. Charmed.
Yeah.
They had an episode with a banshee where they made it weird, like one of them was turning into a banshee, and that the cries would kill people, and that I was like, the fuck? None of that makes sense.
That's not how it works.
But I can understand, when you're trying to adapt like folklore into like a new media and make it be a thing that's a part of a 3-arc story to get to the next thing, to show as a trial and tribulation. It's easier to take that folklore and like bastardize it until it becomes something you can malleably work with to facilitate that goal. I get that. I do.
But at the same time, it drives me nuts because, like,
it's like, you're wrong and here's why, and I have to tell you,
like,
you're wrong.
I will say, obviously, there is, writer's license, poetic
license. Yeah.
Thank you. But, like, for example, in our stories that we're working on, like, there's stuff we're taking and, like, okay, this is how I view the world. This is what I'm taking, and I'm going to explain it and lay it out for you. But I just don't take something and be like, oh, people don't really know about this, so I'm just going to do with it what I want. Like,
yeah, no. I mean, a lot of I know both of us together, we've had a lot of like conferences about like, well, here's the thing I want to base this on. Here's the folklore I'm citing. How can we do this and do the folklore justice to be right by it? We've put a lot of effort into that so far. So, I mean, I understand some people don't have that thought. It feels lazy to not put in the work. I agree with you.
That's what I don't like. I don't like laziness when it comes to this shit.
I would rather take. I would no. Personally, as a writer, I would rather take fucking 14 years to do something right than 3 years to do it wrong. But on the other hand, where the fuck is Winds of Winter, George R. R.
I was
Martin?
just about to say that. Unless you're George R. R. Martin, give me my fucking book already.
Like, bro, you've been working on this shit since the 90s. I was told in 2011 that the Winds of Winter would be out next year. It is now 2022. Where is my book?
It's been 11 years, bitch. You know what? Just give the licensing to Stephen King. He'll finish it in a week.
If that.
Oh no, the entire series, not just the one book. The
You're
entire
right.
series will be done in a week.
I love Stephen King because he's literally like, he's flat out been like, yeah, I might be a shit writer, but I get shit done. I'm like, dude, I can respect that, and also you're a great writer. Don't
He's a
ever.
great writer. Oh my god, I love his stuff.
Because he puts in the work every day. This motherfucker writes 8 hours a day. He sits down, he's like, I'm a fucking cracks. I'm gonna write something. It may not be good, but I'm gonna write it. And big props. Like, I'm proud of you. Good job. But yeah, that's all I really had on the Banshee. Because I got sidetracked by like me being upset that it wasn't right, folklore-wise.
So
I'm giving it a 1 out of 10.
yes,
Yeah.
that's being generous. I will agree to that.
It is not.
Now, Real
accurate,
World
other
Banshee,
than the treatment.
Real World Banshee, I'll give like a 9 out of 10. But Phasmophobia, 1 out of 10. Spookums.
1 out of 10 spookums.
I agree. 1 out of 10.
All right. So next up is the Djinn, and that's
Okay.
Al.
Woo! No, it's Kitty's turn.
No, you're right. It is your turn. Who am I?
Skip me.
I'm John Valjean. I don't fucking know.
We always skip the Capricorn.
I'm always skipped or last. Every time I watch the thing, I was like, oh, your zodiac sign. I'm always last. I'm like, what the fuck?
Gemini's usually first.
And it drives me nuts. And then, did I tell you? Sorry, this is off topic. But I was watching a little thing. It's called The Button, where it's like a speed dating thing, and the button turns red, and you can hit the button, and whoever hits the button, the other person is out. And this person sat down
Ooh.
across from. It's interesting, but this person sat down and the girl's like, oh, what's your sign? And he's like, oh, I'm a Capricorn. And she's like, oh, and like instantly was just like turned off.
Hit the button.
And he was like, well, I hear, because he wasn't really into astrology. He's like, well, I hear we're grounded. She's like, that's what you all say. I'm like, what the? Why do people hate Capricorn so fucking much? What the fuck?
Thrall gave the Banshee a 0.5 spookum.
I see that.
Honestly, I was going to do that. I was thinking in my head it's 0.5, and you and Ty were both like, oh, we'll give it a 1. I'm like, yeah, we'll give it a 1. I'll be generous.
There's no half measures here in my mind. Here's the thing. So I think I talked about this with Recon last week, where in my mind there's a lot. Astrology is not just like your sun sign, which a lot of people just equate it to. I heard the saying that astrology is spicy psychology, and I can't unthink that thought because it's kind of right. But also, if bodies of water can be manipulated by, on Earth, oceans, the tidal forces can be manipulated by the movement of the heavens, by the movement of other, like, cosmic entities like the moon. If the moon can affect our tides, you're telling me that the moon can't impact you as a person and your emotions? You, a person who is made of 70% water? No. I do.
Yeah. No, I agree. It is more than just your sun sign, because I think part of the reason people don't like Capricorns is we're equated with money and being quote unquote greedy.
How dare they?
People's
Yeah, most person I know.
the most generalization about Capricorns is they're very career oriented, always trying to move upwards and just only thinking about money, which is not true.
No. Like, for instance, I've known many Capricorns. Now, I will say that the Capricorns I know have a lot of Capricorn signs throughout their natal charts. And that they're very, how do I say it? They're driven to bring justice. They're driven to do, like, this is the rule, we're gonna fucking follow it. And here's how I'm gonna get to the goal so everyone is happy, but also we're gonna follow the fucking rules. That's how I've always viewed Capricorns.
Yes,
Personally.
I will agree that very, very goal oriented. The only other Capricorns I've ever known were December Capricorns.
Oh,
and
that's
I
a
know
whole
that
other
affects
breed.
it.
That's a whole other breed.
So like obviously that affects it too. But I don't know. Anyway.
This is
so
not
yeah,
about
I have-
astrology. We're not talking about astrology today.
Sorry.
We're talking about ghosts,
We're
damn
talking
it.
about Jinn.
Yeah, we're talking about Jinns. Brother, if you would like to read
Yes. So, in the Journal for Phasmophobia, Jinn, and it's spelled Jinn. I want to be very clear, not DJINN or DJYN. It's in the book. It's JINN. A Jinn is a territorial ghost that will attack when threatened. It has also been known to be able to travel at significant speed. The strengths are a Jinn will travel at a faster speed if its victim is far away. The weakness is that turning off the location's power source will prevent the Jinn from using its ability. As a side note, if I'm playing Phasmophobia and it's a Jinn, I will absolutely be fucking murdered. That is just how it's gonna happen. They love my ass. They're like, Bunny, you're a tasty bitch. And they'll go for me immediately. The evidence to find a Jinn is EMF level 5, fingerprints, and freezing temperatures.
Yes. Yeah, no, every time you're like, Jinn, I'm out.
I see EMF 5 first, and somebody's like, oh, and I got fingerprints, or oh, it's freezing. I am not in that house. I am leaving. I'm like, goodbye. I did it last night, too. I was like,
You did,
EMF
yeah.
5? Fuck you, it's a Jinn. Good day.
So when I was looking it up, actually, there JINN can be correct.
Yep.
There are many different spellings. So a general term of in Arabian and Muslim mythology, a jinn is an intelligent spirit of lower rank than the angels, able to appear in human and animal forms and to possess humans. And also, so spelling it JINN is the Arabic spelling.
Yes.
It's Romanized as DJINN or anglicized as genies. And that's why when people are like, oh, a genie, it's a jinn, that's just how it like became translated into the new language and the new tongue. It's kind of similar to like how we talk about other countries. Like we say Japan, but in Japan they call it Nippon.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand. I think we should call each country how they say.
You see it actually with a lot of like indigenous First Nations, where
Yes.
the names that we have for them aren't that nation's names. That's not the names those people have. It's the names that the settlers or the colonizers or those who were going through. It's the name that other indigenous nations call them.
My two top examples are the Navajo. That's not what they call themselves.
It's the
They
Dene.
call themselves the Dene. Yes.
Yeah.
And another one is Eskimo. That is actually a derogatory term.
That is a
towards
derogatory
them.
term. Don't fucking say that.
They call themselves Inuits.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. Personally, that's my thing. And obviously, if somebody doesn't know, I'm not going to hold it against you if you don't know. Just, be open to learning. Anyway, that's neither here
Yes,
nor
Archie.
there.
Why do they call it that? Yes. Names. Such a powerful thing with names. I do want to also point out that, like, the modern idea of what a genie does, I think is probably closer to the concept behind an ifrit, which isn't a ghost type because it's a completely separate thing.
Correct.
But yeah, that's all. Continue though. Continue. Go off, my liege.
No, thank you. So they are invisible creatures that in pre-Islamic Arabian religious systems and later in Islamic mythology and theology, like humans, they are accountable for their deeds and can either be believers or unbelievers, depending on whether they accept God's guidance. And I've noticed with a couple of these different ghosts that I got, religion really ties into it from whatever region it's from. So with the jinn, it's if it is Islamic and like accepts Allah, and I'm like, that's interesting. That it just makes me think of like those things, like here in the U.S.,
America,
it's more commonly because Christianity is such a broad thing here, and it's like common knowledge that people, if they have a faith or think something needs to be faith-based, it'll be like Judeo-Christianity.
Which is annoying as fuck. Just gonna throw that out. That's annoying as fuck.
And I just think that's interesting that the area where you are affects like, okay, so this faith will affect this thing. And it makes me wonder, okay, is it actually that specific faith? Or is it going to be a thing of just your faith in and of it yourself? Is it your own spirit dominating and pushing through?
That's a very valid point.
And I partly bring that up because in a book series I read, the Mercy Thompson series, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it's the symbol of the cross. Well, in the book, she's talking about it's your faith, and you use a symbol of your faith. And she didn't like crosses because she had some religious trauma, so she used a lamb, like the shape of a lamb, and like that's how she would ward off the things.
That's beautiful,
because-
and I find that to be amazing. That is an amazing concept, and I agree with it. Absolutely.
So that's what it makes me think of it. Like it has nothing to do with the actual words you're saying or like the literal like faith, whatever God you worship. It's your faith and how much you believe it.
Yeah, Zombie says in the chat, and I agree with this concept at all, completely. That it's the intent behind what you're doing that gives it its power, not necessarily the symbol itself. Which is definitely in Phasmo. They have the crucifix thing that you like. It's supposed to ward off or whatever. And I think during gameplay once, Zombie actually said, "Bold of you to assume that this ghost is Christian."
Right.
Very bold of you.
Well, isn't that like, I feel like I read that somewhere too. It was like, okay, so you're a vampire, and sorry, just a second. Now, Marky wants out of the room.
Marky's a beautiful
Oh,
cat.
that's
We
an
love him.
animal. He is a big cat.
Like, you're a person of faith, like you're a Christian, and you get turned into a vampire. Like, oh, suddenly you can't look at crosses now.
That's rude. That sucks, dude.
You know, and I was like, huh, that is interesting.
There was one vampire book I read many years ago. I can't remember what it was, but like the vampire was talking to someone. He's like, you know, I love Catholic churches because they always have the most beautiful, like the inside of their church is so beautiful. And he was talking about the different like art, like the different frescoes and the different like stained glass, and how it's just like really beautiful to behold. Like if you just go in and just look at it, and it just like reinstilled their faith in them. And it's like, but you're a vampire. How'd you get in there, bro? Like, because vampire lore, we could go forever about vampire lore, and I think maybe in the future we'll do that.
I don't mean to derail us. It's just...
Let's be honest. That's what this show is about: is being derailed. But yeah, so the Jinn. So it's based in the Middle East, kind of. That's where it comes from.
Yes, yeah, that is where it comes from. It seems like people used to worship it and seek protection because they weren't inherently malevolent.
Right, they're just creatures, kind of.
Yes, exactly. Which I found interesting. I'm like, huh.
Kind of like, because when I did the base definition look, it was putting it as an intelligent spirit, in a lower rank than angels, but above people and their spirit. So
yes,
in that like that's how they were equating it, within the Christian mythos, was like it's kind of like an angel, but not an angel.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay. I just found I found that interesting, and I'm like, okay, because I know a lot of people like when people say genie, it also equates to jinn, but how we say genie nowadays, it's not the same as a jinn. Jinns don't grant wishes.
No. I mean, unless my wish when I walk into a house in Phasmophobia is, I would like to be absolutely fucking wrecked right now. And then the Jinn is like, Bunny, I've got you in spades.
So yeah, that's my thing on it. I would say representation wise in Phasmo, I would give it a 2 out of 10 just because Jinn can fuck your shit up if they really wanted to.
I would give it a 3 out of 10 because it is, while it doesn't 100% align with the real world folklore, they come for me, so they get an extra point for being spooky. I will give it a 3 out of 10 spookums. What about you, Al?
2 out of 10. But I can see why you're giving them 3 out of 10 only because they love you. We can actually find out.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a bug or if it's just like really bad luck, or if they were like, you know what? We saw her stream it one time. We're gonna make it a thing. I don't know why, but they always come for me.
It's true. We can actually figure it out. If you die, we know it's a Jinn.
Like, if I die right off, it's like, well, that's a Jinn. Solved it. Next.
Okay. I know it is Al's turn. You can go ahead and start. I will be right back.
You know where, son. I think ours is the mayor. Would you like to do the Phasmo definition for us, Bunny?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
So a mare is the source of all nightmares. I see what you did there. Making it most powerful in the dark. The strengths, a mare will have an increased chance to attack in the dark. The weakness is turning the lights on around the mare will lower its chance to attack. You can find evidence as a mare, being a response on Spirit Box, ghost orbs on camera, and ghost writing.
So a mare comes from quite a few different regions: Scandinavia, Germany, Poland, and a few others. And basically, what it comes from. So basically, it just means uh the a creature that ride a mallet. Oh my gosh, I can't pronounce this word.
Maleficent.
Maleficent. Thank you. Entity or creature that rides in people's chests while they sleep, bringing on nightmares. So they are correct. It is a very much a nightmare ghost. But according to what I was reading, now this varies from region to region because, like I said, Scandinavia, Germany, all those have different variations, but it's all kind of the same thing. It's a creature that breaks into your homes and looks for you while you're sleeping and sits on your chest and gives you these wicked, vicious nightmares.
So it's
that
like
can
a cat.
sometimes- Yeah, kind of like a cat.
Cat, like when you wake up and there's a cat on you and you're like, I don't have a cat. It's like you left your window open. Your cat is there now.
Yeah, but the only difference is, unlike your cat, these guys will give you nightmares, and well, most of the time they don't kill you. There have been cases where you could die in your sleep because of them. And I'm trying to think if I can find it. So, like, if you take I'm trying to think. I think it was Scandinavia, maybe. No, I'm so sorry. It was Germany. There's actually a charm or a prayer that you could actually, use to how you ward off mares, which I thought was so cool when I was looking up on this. It goes, "Here I am, lying down to sleep. No nightmare shall plague me until they have swum through all the waters that flow upon the earth and counted all stars that appear in the firmament. Thus help me God, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen."
That's beautiful.
It really is. Eh,
Before we get farther into this, just because Ty
Oh,
stepped
sorry.
away and I've had a lot of coffee. Can we take a quick? Let's take a quick bio break, real quick. I don't know
You
about
got
you,
it.
but I have to pee so fucking bad.
Oh, yeah, of
Uh,
course. I do too. So this works out well.
this works out well, so I'll put it on the chatting screen. We will be right back, you beautiful beans. And we're gonna continue talking about the mayor. But yeah, just chill out. We'll be right back.
picture of
Yeah.
the mayor from it looks like a goddamn cat in a dress.
Hello, internet. We're back. Oh my god, it is a cat in a dress.
Right?
So we're back, guys. We're back from our little intermission. We're talking about the mayor, and there's a photo of a cat sitting on a chest.
Well, it's funny
Looks
you
like
talking
sharing a
about-
Twizzler with this sleeping dude.
Here,
I think-
have
I
a
think it's-
Twister. Yum, yum, yum.
Twizzler.
I think it's supposed to be like its tongue stealing the soul, maybe, or maybe giving it nightmares. I just
What a
So-
cutie.
It really is adorable. If you guys have a chance, you should look it up. It's it's hilarious. But as I was saying, with Mare, it basically there depending on the region, there's different beliefs to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we go like to Poland real quick, they believed could be the soul of a person either alive or dead, maybe a sinful woman or somebody who's wrong, died without confession, who becomes a mayor. Another theory was it was someone could become a mayor by being the seventh daughter, or having one's name pronounced in the wrong way while being baptized. Like there's a bunch of things.
It's like when my real person name, everyone mispronounces it and shit.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I still can't
that's
believe
not
that.
my
I feel
name.
like that's
That's
so
not my
silly.
name. I literally, yeah, it's because when I have a really difficult name, so I started dropping letters as a child to help
Mhm.
people out, to be like, maybe if we take some letters away, it will help you. And I got down to 4 letters. And there's no winning, so I'm like, now I guess we're done. Like, you'll figure it out. Some people say things, and I'm like, sure, I guess that was my name. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, sure.
Like,
Well,
okay.
one of the things that for Mare's mythology that's different from the game is a mare can turn into an animal, objects, like the picture of the cat, in order to get closer to people. And what it does is, as it's giving you these horrible nightmares, it drains you either out of your energy or out of your blood.
Oh.
And yeah, so it's a lot different from the mare in the Phasmophobia game, because depending on which region, again, it's one of those things of, yes, it will cause you these vicious nightmares, and normally it's described as a female spirit,
Mhm.
but it does more than just that. It like drains you completely, killing you in your sleep.
As opposed to when a cat lays on you normally and does this little purrs and is cute.
Yeah.
That's the cat trying to heal you.
Whereas the mare's like, I'm just gonna lay here and make you suffer. And I'm looking at the Poland one, and you might like this. There's protection practices, to protect you from the mare if you suspect you have one in your home.
Mhm.
Drinking coffee before you sleeping.
Can
She doesn't
confirm.
need encouragement.
I already drink coffee. I drink coffee before I go to sleep, anyways. Which is baffling to people, but I grew up drinking coffee day round. So, for me, it doesn't, like, drinking coffee isn't like I'm gonna do it to wake up. It's because, like, my palate is like, we're gonna have coffee. Like, I make the jokes whenever we do a Spooky Saturday, where I'm like, this is like a coffee chat. I'm drinking coffee, so we're chatting. But no,
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I have to tell Bunny because I know she loves.
I know.
But-
I actually need more, since I've
I know, actually,
non-peated
that's-
out.
But
People are
something
always like,
yeah.
oh, you're tired, drink some coffee. And I'm like, coffee, the only thing coffee does for me is help me with my headaches because of the caffeine.
Yeah, that's
That
because
does
we have a
not
chemical
wake me up.
dependence on caffeine. Like, don't pretend to know me. No, it's actually clinically studied. But it's been clinically studied. Oh, thank you. Yes, if you refresh this, I will give you a present and tell you a secret.
Aw.
My husband's great.
He
He heard that I need coffee, and he came in to be like, "Give me your cup. I will fill it."
But the other thing I was reading up on about Mare is because they also have other names like Alp, which I was looking at that. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember Alps, because here's the thing though, those are categorized as kind of like demons more than spirits.
Demon.
Demon, but they do generally the same thing. So for Mare, it's again, what I love about it is, unlike Phasmophobia, which does, it does roughly get what it does, but the Mare is so much more expansive than what Phasmophobia can really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need an entire episode just about the mayor, because if you just look at it by different regions, the mayor's fucking nightmare fuel.
I mean, it
can
is an
take on
evil.
different things.
It's defined as an evil preternatural being causing nightmares.
It really is. But what I love is just how different lores have it being different ways. Like in Russia, it's described as this woman with long black hair.
Which I think is what they actually do, because when you're dealing with a mayor during an event, the singing event is a thing that people use to say, oh, this is like when you're big braining it and you get in a ghost event in the game and there's a little singing. You're like, oh, it's a mayor. That's the fucker that messes with me every night then. Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, but I've noticed something in a lot of these lores when it comes to like spirits, harmful spirits, is that they're always women.
That's
Like,
just the fucking patriarchy. That's the patriarchy.
Okay. To be fair.
To be fair.
In other terms too, though, like, yes, a lot of spirits are women, but if you think about it, like La Llorona and a lot of Hispanic spirits, like, yes, they're women, but they're usually attacking men, and like they're women who were either murdered by a man or something happened. There was one that I was learning of recently that's, I believe, Haitian, and I don't remember. A rough translation is the Devil Woman, and she will show up at a party and she has like a veil on and she'll lure a man into the woods. She won't hurt him, but she'll lure him so deep into the woods that he gets lost and he can't find his way back out.
And he'll die.
Yeah, and so basically a lot of these ones, they're like, if you think you're gonna get something, like, that's on you.
Yeah. Which I can respect wholeheartedly. I can respect that,
Oh, definitely. I just noticed it when I was looking through Mirror, and the history of it is that a lot of times it's a woman that's been either falsely accused or was, somehow evil or sinful, and that becomes this evil entity. I'm like, that's actually kind of curious. But you're right, they do also attack mostly men over women.
So
we're gonna have to do another segment just to talk about that and why that is.
Absolutely, I'm here for it, and also that's what you get. Me aggressive, aggressive.
Aggressive.
So in the game, the funny thing is, like, if you turn on the lights, and you do it, and then it turns it off, like, that's also like this could be a mare. I just think that's really funny.
It is. I think the whole having it be stronger in the dark is probably to tie into, we sleep at night in the dark, and that's probably why Phasmophobia had said that's one of its strengths. But in the myths, I couldn't really find anything saying, well, that's how it's. Well, it does attack more at night when we're sleeping, so I can see Phasmo. Yeah, so I can give it to Phasmo, really sticking true to the Mare lore. And I guess for me, I'd have to say this is I'd give it 7 out of 10 Spookum.
I would give it 6 out of 10, personally.
See, I was gonna give it a 5 out of 10.
So do you want to draw it at
6 out of 10?
6 out of 10? I think so. Yeah, because like I said, the Mare is so expansive, like mythology-wise, that I feel like they kind of just took the bare core of it, the basic core of it, just to kind of keep it simple for the game. And I would have loved if they could just expand on that more, because this is kind of cool.
Absolutely. A lot of these different ghost types are... honestly, we could do whole ass segments on them.
Yeah, and because I just counted how many more I have left, and I'm like, we might have to put a pin in this.
I think we're gonna have to do a part 2. I do want to get a little farther down the list if you guys are cool with it.
Yeah,
no, I'm fine with that. I was just like, we've already been going for almost 2 hours, and we're not even halfway through our list.
Of course, in our defense, we also what's what I'm looking for. We got derailed and sidetracked. Yeah. That's what people come here for.
Yeah, this is the show they came for. They came for this.
They did.
This is what
you wanted.
This is what you wanted. Yeah, it's very true. So we've got the Mare at 6 out of 10. The next one, I believe, is mine.
It is.
And it's the Revenant, which Innocent Ivy is essentially her Jinn.
It is.
Because whenever we go in and she dies first, we always know it's a fucking Revenant. So in the game, a Revenant is a violent ghost that will attack indiscriminately. unless you're playing with Innocent and then it's her first. I'm adding that bit in because that's true and I've seen it. Their speed can be deceiving as they are slow while dormant. However, as soon as they hunt, they can move incredibly fast. As an aside, before I continue reading this page, I also feel like that's bullshit because they are not very fast. They're fast when they see you. If they have line of sight on you in game, then they're fast. But during a hunt, normally they're still just taking their time and sauntering around. Am I right?
Yeah, they're like do 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 do.
Like just do. Like very slow steps. The strength of a revenant is that it will travel significantly faster when it's hunting their prey. If it's looking at you, it will be faster. The weakness is that you can hide from the revenant, and it will cause it to move very slowly. You can determine it's a revenant by getting the evidence of a ghost orb, ghost writing, and freezing temperatures. And this is actually really interesting because just the definition alone, a revenant is defined specifically as one that returns after death or a long absence. I know part of that is because a long absence, like you see it used, like that's just the word in general. The word revenant can be applied to where they've been gone for a while and then they're back and it's like, oh, the actually, what was that movie? They recently
The
came out with
Revenant?
it. Yeah. That idea is that like he was gone and he was away from society for so long that he came back. So he
Yeah.
is the revenant in that situation. But part of me wonders if like that could also be applied to the spirit. You know?
See, and maybe it's just because it's kind of similar in spelling. When I hear revenant, I also think of like revenge, and like it's more malicious because like it's just because of how it's spelled. But like that's where my mind goes to.
No, for sure. And there's definitely something to be said that there isn't really a lore in-game reason for why this ghost is just pissed off. And I get that. I do. Indiscriminate rage, fully get it. I do. But it's super interesting because even when you're looking up the different, like, I couldn't really find a lot about this. This is one specifically I wanted to find stuff on. But I couldn't find a lot about it. And I don't know if this was just a concept that they put in, and just kind of went with it. I'm gonna look it up now as well, just because if something popped up and I found it afterwards. Yeah, because a lot of it was finding just stuff about the movie, which was a real pain in the ass. Because I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
The one thing I did see, and again, this is a lot of, you see the revenants listed in games. A lot of games have like a revenant type thing, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're ghosts. Some games use revenants, like how they work it into their gameplay is that it was at one point human, but now it's not human, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a ghost, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
But I mean, if you're looking at like the folklore of it, depending on the area you live in, it could be like some places will say like it's a ghost. This is a type of ghost. This is a type of creature. Other places flat out are like, no, if you're looking at a revenant or the thing we're calling a revenant, it's not a ghost. It is a corporeal being. It's a reanimated corpse. And it will come for you.
Like a
And
zombie.
a zombie, I thought when I read that, I was like, oh, so it's like a lich.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's even more. Oh yeah.
See,
I
I
like
guess
that.
I'm thinking still along the ghost-ish lines. And I was thinking like it comes back after a while. Like while it's gone, it's gathering its strength, and then it comes back and it's powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the wiki real quick, and I guess a lot of folklorists kind of agree and disagree on this. I guess some of them believe if you look at, I know, sorry, Kitty. If you look at like a lot of them think some maintain that it's like more like a vampire like thing. If you look at Eastern European folklore, but others are like, nah, it's more of a undead kind of ghost kind of thing. If you look at Western European folklore, so it could also be a regional thing too. Sorry to interrupt.
That's what she was saying.
Yep. Oh, that is. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Escuche, por favor.
I wasn't. Yeah, I'm still so dumb. I'm so sorry, Bunny.
No, that's fine.
So yeah, no, you are definitely right though. Can we call it a lich?
I honestly
Well, I
think
mean, a lich is a very specific thing.
Oh yeah, it's true too.
I mean, again, it's very different. It's different depending on what cultural lens you're using.
So
And
wait, does that mean technically Jesus was a revenant?
so I actually specifically looked this up. Just so we're clear, I did look that up. I was debating whether or not I should bring it up. But technically, no. Because he comes back to life fully in Western Judeo-Christian mythos, he is not an undead person. He comes back to life fully.
Okay.
So he would not be classed as a revenant or as a lich.
Okay.
Or a zombie,
pretty cool.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
If we're, again, this is me being like, rules written. As it's like, what is the right? How is that specifically worded? Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been fun. It would have been fun. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would have loved it. Another thing that some people were saying about revenants is that in its spirit form, it possesses a dead body. So that the revenant is a spirit itself, but the dead body, that the reanimated corpse, it could be any corpse, and the revenant goes in it, and then that creature is still a revenant.
Makes sense because the body is just a host.
Which would explain why it's walking around slowly. Until it sees what it wants, and then it's like, alright, bag of bones, let's go.
I'm gonna grab that.
Ooh, what's this? Innocent Ivy? I'm gonna get her. For me, though, with the Revenant, I'm gonna put it at probably a 5 out of 10 spookums.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment.
That's what it seems like to me. There could have been a lot more. There could have been a clarification. I don't necessarily. I understand not wanting to put a lot of information in the lore that a hunter would go in already knowing, but I think an interesting mechanic they could add to the game later on. I don't know if they ever will, or if they even will ever hear this. I think I submitted this on the Reddit at one point, but having it be where, like, with the ghost types, like having the base, like whatever, this is a ghost type, and then the more you interact with that type of spirit, the more information you get on the journal page.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
As you go, you're learning.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say, yeah, specifically with revenants, because they can possess people. There's a chance of getting possessed the longer you're in the house.
I would love that. I would love that so fucking much.
So, Penny, what you need to do is you need to write a note to the game developers and be like, hey, you need to do this now, because that's a genius idea.
I mean, the subreddit is... So the developers, they're a very small team, but they're very active with their community online. Like, on the subreddit themselves, like, they take feedback from there. A lot of changes that have been implemented have been as direct results to people being on the internet being like, you should do this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? That's dope. Let's do that. So I'm very curious. I know they just did that one update. There is a big wipe update coming up eventually. But I am very curious to see how this game will continue to be its thing, you know? That's all I got on Revenants. Do you want to go to a shade?
Yes, we can do a shade.
And coming in with a shade is Kitty.
Yes, I know.
We're trying not to forget you this time.
I appreciate it. If you don't mind reading the definition.
Absolutely. So, in the book, a shade is known to be very shy. There is evidence to suggest that a shade will stop all paranormal activity if there are multiple people nearby. As a strength, shades are much harder to find, but their weakness is that the ghost will not enter a hunt if there are multiple people nearby. You can determine it's a shade using the evidence of EMF level 5, ghost writing, or freezing temps. And freezing temps, not war.
So obviously, when I Googled shade, what I basically got was, oh yeah, here's all about colors. And I'm like, this is not what I want. Oh, you mean like shadows hiding underneath a tree from the sun? No, that's not what I wanted either. Thank you.
The definition is as a term of a ghost or like a spirit type.
Yes.
I found that the only definition I could find relating to supernatural shit is outside of like some mythos will refer to a shade as like part of a person's spirit, like part of their soul. But the thing that specifically got me is there was one definition from Webster's that said a disembodied spirit, a ghost, and that's it.
Again, okay, so why am I getting the ones that just say ghost? Because I did find that shade is often used, I guess, in Greek, and is used in a lot of literature and poetry as a spirit residing in the underworld, specifically. I couldn't find much, unfortunately. I was hoping
Because they were shy.
Yeah, exactly. They're shy. I was hoping we could find a bit more, but yeah, it makes sense that a shade, I don't know, when I think shade in context of being a ghost, it's a leftover, a remnant, like a piece of the spirit. It's not the whole thing. It's like basically an empty shell of what remains. It's not a whole piece of itself anymore.
That's really cool, the underworld bit.
Yeah, it said specifically in the underworld. And it didn't say like where specifically in the underworld, like if it's, the fields of Elysium or even Tartarus. It's just, I guess, like that's how they describe the spirits that are already there.
Did you ever watch the show The Magicians?
Yes, I need to.
Yes.
watch
First
the
and
last
foremost, love that fucking show. Because they're probably one of the only shows that I've ever found dealing with like magic systems that I found is pretty close to legit, like how they express it. There is one episode, a couple of episodes that deal with it, where one character, her shade, her spirit is actually separate from her body, and it is in Tartarus. But she's out and about, walking, living her best, like hot girl summer. Yeah, hot girl summer. We're in Witch Bitch Fall now, so get used to it.
Yeah.
Get used to it. No, I just thought that was super, because I completely forgot about it until you said the underworld thing. But it does lend to the question, in my mind at least, because there is so little information about a shade. Outside of that, it's a part of it. It's a part of a thing. Are we necessarily talking about the piece that's in the underworld when we refer to a shade? Or are we talking about the piece that's left here? Because if we're talking about just the part that's in the underworld, there is a possibility then that the rest of the spirit, the rest of that soul, could be alive and well and walking around and just be incomplete.
That could be valid.
I like this theory.
It could be similar to in Supernatural when
Good afternoon, Mom. Hello.
Hello.
when Sam, was quote unquote soulless.
Soulless Sam. The funniest time.
Himself, as in like he had his memories and stuff, but he was apathetic to everything.
He had no conscience. There wasn't that like moral compass within him saying, this is a bad thing to do. He was like, okay, this is the thing I'm going to do, and just does it. And he's like, oh, weird.
And he couldn't care anymore. Like, he was still with Dean, but he didn't care about Dean's safety anymore like he'd had before.
Oh my god, there's that one episode with Soulless Sam. I actually love the Soulless Sam arc. I'm going to say that right now. Fully, like, 100% loved it, because I always found Sam as a character to be very whiny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just whinging about everything.
Almost Louis levels of whinging.
Yeah. Just like, I'm gonna cry about it. Just like, okay, have fun. I always really enjoyed, there was one episode with the aliens that were Fae. And they're like, yeah, my brother got kidnapped by them. Like, oh my god, your brother was abducted? Yeah. Oh, it must have happened a long time. Like, it did happen a long time ago, because it was very like, yeah, my brother got kidnapped, like, but taken by the aliens. It's fine.
2 hours ago.
Yeah, it happened like a half an hour ago. Like, I'm over it. Like, just very like, I'm over it.
No, I think my favorite line from that episode was when Dean called him. He's like, they're after me. He's like, you better run, Dean. I hear the fourth kind's butt stuff.
I was trying to hold my composure.
It's facts. It's very factual. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I wish there was more information. I do think that, especially with a lot of these ghost types being so ambiguous, where literally a lot of them, just like you said, like all the ones I'm getting are just ghost. I wish that they did have a mechanic where the more you interact, the more you dealt with that specific ghost type, that more information could be found in your individual journal, like your journal looking at it. And that I think would work really well for like if you're playing with people who are not people, like if you were doing lobby playthroughs and maybe there's somebody there who hasn't encountered that ghost type before, you could be like, hey, so I actually happen to know that it's this because I've dealt with this before. I think that would be dope as fuck.
That would be cool, especially if they want to encourage like the open lobbies, which I don't do.
No, open lobbies, in my personal opinion, are toxic as fuck. That doesn't mean that everybody who does like rando lobbies is bad. I just have had bad experiences. Some great
people in rando lobbies for other
sure. Games. And there's others that are just like, I actually can't. Not today.
So there's this one bitch that we met in Among Us named Innocent, and like, oh my god.
Oh my god. No, I love
this bitch.
We love you, Mom. We love you. Yeah, for me, a shade as written, as written, I would probably give it like a 3 out of 10 spookums.
Yeah, just because there's not a lot of information on it.
Which feels bad, because I'm looking at the list because I've been keeping track of the spookum meters. All the ones you've had have been very low spookums, and I think that does very much reflect.
Okay. Once we get a little lower to some of the newer ones, there's a couple that I'm very excited about, like the Goryo. I'm very excited about that one.
Yes, I have some here that I'm very excited to go over too. Would you ladies be interested in doing like another set, like 3 more, and then wrapping?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah.
Okay.
And by 3 more, you mean like 1 more of each?
Yes, that's exactly what I meant.
I just wanted to clarify.
You're like, Bunny keeps making us do stuff. She's making us do things. Gross.
I just like to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Absolutely, and I'm here for it. So then the next one is Al's, and I love how this fucking worked out.
It's a demon, isn't it?
It's a demon, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Alyssa,
Al, you're uniquely qualified to answer these questions, aren't you?
To anyone wondering, Caitlin is trying to convince people that I am a demon.
It's because you are.
Even though she has no proof.
How would we get proof, Al? How would we get proof?
I mean, she uses her life to her advantage ever since. I don't think that's true.
We're on, I don't know what page it is in the journal. I screen capped the journal, Mom.
I think she's making a
I've
joke
got it.
when I said we're all on the same page.
Oh. I'm sorry, I misunderstood because I'm cute. I'm cute.
You're very cute.
Thank you for understanding that. I'm adorable.
You are.
But yeah, so this is entry number 10, Demon. Do you want me to read the thing?
Sure.
Yeah. So, in the Phasmophobia Journal, demons are the most aggressive ghosts we've encountered. Known to attack without reason, they seem to enjoy the thrill of the hunt. Yeah, Al?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
It's a simple test. Demons won't reveal their favorite color. Oh my god!
It's facts.
It's facts!
What?
What's your favorite color?
Facts?
Oh,
You won't reveal your
you
favorite
won't
color.
tell us your favorite color. Even now, you won't do it.
That's how we get a hold of you.
We use a summoning circle. No. So, the strength is that demons will initiate hunts more often than other ghosts.
Yeah.
Their weaknesses is that demons fear the crucifix and will be less aggressive near one. The evidence is fingerprints, ghost writing, and freezing temps.
I mean, Phasmophobia got it pretty right with freezing temperatures and the cross.
Yeah?
Because, yeah. I see how you're saying that.
Oh my god, and it all tracks. You never went to church as a kid.
I did go to church as a kid. My mother's Methodist.
I'm just thinking of whenever we play with Al, how she immediately grabs the cross and she's like, "See? It's fine!" And then walks into the house with it. This is trick.
The demon always kills me in the game. Not always, but most of
It's
the
the
time.
it's the direct competition. I love you. You're beautiful.
I love you too. Yeah, according to the Webster's Dictionary, an evil spirit or devil, especially one thought to possess a person or act as a tormentor in hell, or, it's like depending on the religion and the mythology, demons are like super duper bad entities that are just meant to fuck up your life.
Yeah, I mean,
And it kind of
the whole idea of a demon in my mind, and I think I brought this up when I had a demonologist on, was that like the term demon, it's really been coined by Judeo-Christian faiths and like those types of mythos, but you don't see the same, like it lacks the flair of what other ghost types would be. That's all I wanted to say. Continue.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. I'm kind of glad I got this one because I was thinking of Nesper. I think everyone, hopefully everyone knows what Nesper is.
I have no idea what this is. Please tell me everything.
Nesper is a New England Society for Psychic Research, which was founded by, I think her name is Lorraine. Oh my god, I'm going to pronounce her name wrong.
Oh,
the Warrens. Oh my god,
Yes,
I know
thank
what
you.
Nesper is. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. I had a
That's
bunny moment. It's
okay.
fine.
I was having trouble pronouncing her name. So it was by the Warrens and Lorraine and Ed Warren. And as everyone knows, one of their most famous, they had a lot of famous cases, but one of the most famous ones was Annabelle, which we've had movies on. And something they talked about is, so a difference between spirits and demons is, according to Nesper, spirits cannot possess inanimate objects. Like, it's just impossible for them to do, whereas demons are capable of doing that. That was like a huge difference between the two. And one of the things I love about demons is that their main goal is to harm you. I am not. So what I should realize
that laugh. Oh my god.
The thing I love about demons in the game is they really are meant to harm you. Like, it doesn't matter. They just choose you. They're like, we don't care who it is. We're tagging this one, then we're tagging the next one. Like, they are meant to fuck shit up.
They have an order of operations they gonna follow.
Yeah.
Swiggity swooty, I'm coming for that booty.
Booty. And Phasmophobia really gets it. I mean, I wish they could show more, because with demons, they will physically harm you. Like, they will leave scratches, marks on your body. They will try to kill you in real life and tank your sanity to the point of you go insane in real life. And I feel like Phasmo really got that. Like, they couldn't do it to the full extent that we can in real life, but they really got it of these demons.
They understood the concept. They understood the concept.
They understood the assignment. And the reason I bring up Nesper is because they had a lot of demonic cases. In fact, one of them was the demon murder trial. That's what really caught my attention.
Yeah, the devil made me do it. Actually, Archie and I actually did a segment early on this season specifically about the Warrens and about the cases that they had.
And that's why I brought it up, because I remember you two doing that.
Yeah, the one guy who was like, there was a demon, so I tried to be helpful, and then the demon made me kill a dude.
Yeah.
And I have sussy eyes right now. But
as inaccurate as they are, the movies were very interesting.
They really were.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, like, with the Annabelle thing, because Annabelle was a Raggedy Ann doll.
Okay,
so they had to make that fucking nightmare fuel for the movie.
The Annabelle movie had a different director, that's why it wasn't as good as the Conjuring ones.
We watched The Conjuring. Zombie and I went to The Conjuring. One of our first dates, we went to it in theaters. And, All I saw was like the little girls playing, and it wasn't even anything scary at that point. I was just like, man, these little children, these are gonna be the creepiest parts of this fucking movie. I guarantee it.
And she was right.
I was right.
Did you drop your mic out? Yeah, no, sorry, drop the mic. Sorry. One of the things like I said, Phasma really does well. Like, again, they can't really do the full extent of what's in real life, but they do their best. And I feel they really nail demons on the head of, hey there, buddy, I'm gonna make you so terrified that your sanity just tanks, and then I'm gonna kill you. Because that's what we saw Ouija on our first date. Oh, zombie.
Shit.
Thank you. Yeah, our first date was like a 13-hour. It started out as like, we're just gonna meet up for coffee, and it became a 13-hour date.
And that was the moment he decided, I'm gonna marry this girl.
Yeah,
Well,
I
first
knew
you gotta
by
make
like
sure he
hour
doesn't
3,
really
I'm like, this
adore.
man's he's gonna propose to me. But no, like, that is an interesting idea to like, to make that correlation between demon and madness. Almost that like experiencing this preternatural thing, this thing that is specifically tied to the concept of evil, and have it go, okay, well, because you've been around this thing, you are going to be crazy.
And that's what happened in a lot of real life cases, whether it's from Warrens or from others who have dealt with demonic possession, is it makes you go insane. Like when it's trying to take possession of you, it will make you do things or say things you do not intend to do. And it makes you completely mad to the point of you can't like I was gonna say, I know you watched BuzzFeed Unsolved Bunny.
I love
to a
I honestly love that, and also Shane Madej is the Fae, and I know it.
I have to agree with that. I do. And something I love is when they were talking to Father, oh god, I can't remember his name, but he himself has said in his line of experience when it comes to demonic possessions, he's like, because he's had a lot of cases, he says most of the time it is just a mental disorder. And nowadays, because what they do is they talk to the family to make sure what it is first, and they're like, most of the time it's, I think he said like 8 out of like it was one of those things where like 8 out of 10 times it's usually just a mental illness, and we help the individual get the help they need. And in his life alone, he's only had 5 real cases of demonic possession. And that's just it. Illness and mental illness and demonic possession are so intertwined in that role of we are not ourselves, because when this happens, it takes full control of us, and we feel like we are mad.
That's a valid ass point, because I know when Crowley was here, we talked about like how you would even approach like dealing with a possession. Is that they do even like the diocese has a very like, we're not going to call this a possession until we've gone down the list. Is it something psychological? Is it something physical? Is it something that your environment is causing to have these brain things? And on the other side of that, not related to demonology or anything like that, but even just metaphysical stuff, if your brain and your cultural worldview doesn't align and doesn't allow for that movement, that expansion into saying, okay, what I'm experiencing is crazy supernatural shit and I accept that, your brain is automatically going to try to protect itself from shit that will damage it. So it will straight up be like, no, we're not seeing that. Boom. And having those different forces, things that are supernatural, the concept even, versus your brain being like, no, we're shutting this shit down, we're not dealing with it, that alone could cause a psychotic break.
It really could, yeah. And I love that. Shh. Oh, hold on. Shh, Curly. I'll be right back.
Curly, we haven't summoned you.
Curly.
We haven't summoned you, Curly.
No, don't make everyone Curly. But yeah, no, I would say for me, for Spookums, I would definitely say like maybe 9 out of 10, only because they don't do the physical damage in the game, but definitely they nail the ghost on the head.
And the psychological portion of it, absolutely.
They do.
I would also go 9 out of 10.
Okay, I'll be right back, you guys. You can keep going. I'm covering.
Okay. So, brother, would you agree with the 9 out of 10 bit?
Yes, I agree with the 9 out of 10.
Okay, it is now canon. Demons are 9 out of 10. Spookums. I love how Zombie keeps putting the different spookies in there.
Yeah.
You're a real treasure. I appreciate you. Oh my goodness. Well, our next one, is the Ure. I'm gonna give it a moment, real quick, while she's stepping away to deal with Curly. I wasn't trying to be mean. I kept making the joke about her being a demon. I hope she's not mad.
Oh no, she doesn't get mad about it. Trust me.
You would
If
know.
she did, she would have been mad a long time ago.
This is true. This is facts. The Revenant. Basically, we made a lot of jokes about how the Revenant kills Mom.
Lots of jokes. Yeah.
It's okay. There's a VOD. You guys are gonna get. You can have the option to watch it later. Basically, we've just been going through.
I say we're not even really halfway through the list.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get to the halfway mark, which is the end of the ones we're doing now. The set we're doing now. And then
you're gonna do the Ure, and then I will have the Oni, and
then we'll have to pick this up. Actually, while we're waiting for her to come back, Pompeii,
become a revenant.
Become a revenant. Let me look at the schedule because I think I know where to click on my own Discord. You know my life.
I'll say it is I next week.
Well, if you want, this is entirely up to you. We could just extend this into next week as well. Or we can find another day. I could take one of the... We can figure it out.
I feel like all the other days are filled right now.
Yeah, they're full right now. So if we were gonna finish it this one...
season.
What season?
Yeah.
Well, since we're gonna go halfway through the list, we're trying to figure out where we could pick up. When we could pick up.
Oh yeah. Do we want to get to? Do we want to leave off on number 13 yokai, or do we want to?
We were gonna get through to. We were gonna start like yokai would be the starting point.
Yeah,
for the
no,
next
it's
one.
fine.
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
I don't need an even amount of turns as everybody else. Hell, thanks.
I'm sorry. I just barely came back on.
Like, what's she gonna do? Talk about spirit? No, that's mean. Yeah, so we'll get to that. We'll circle back to that idea in a moment. But
yeah, we can discuss it after.
Yeah, I'm an adult. So Ure. Ure is a ghost that has returned to the physical world, usually for the purpose of revenge or hatred. You mentioned the fucking big brain Keenan play, using the spirit box, or not the spirit box, the Ouija board, to ask the ghost why it was there, and it said revenge, and that's how we found out it was a Ure. That key, revenge, that was the bit that did it. The strength bit that did it. Yeah. The strengths of a Ure. Ures have been known to have a stronger effect on people's sanity. Their weakness is that smudging the Ure's place of death will trap it temporarily, reducing how much it wanders. The evidence is that you can find it with a ghost orb, freezing temps, and dots projector. What's really interesting, as we're getting into these, like, the farther in ghost types, and they're kind of fleshing out more ghost type stuff, we see less of the sweeping generalization ghosts, and this is kind of where we kind of transition into, like, more niche ghosts. The Ure is actually a figure in Japanese folklore, which is analogous to ghosts, but it specifically translates to faint spirit, which I found was very interesting. Like in the game, Ures, they do things around you to impact your sanity. They have the different ghost events, one where they slam doors next to you in order to drop your sanity to the point where they can hunt you. But I just thought it was very interesting that now we've kind of, the farther down the list we go, as they had been adding these in after the fact, the more we see things like this is now a specific folklore piece outside of that little. I'm doing a thing. I'm looking at a map and I'm doing a thing with my hands. No one can see me do this. I'm crazy. But no, like, because up until this ghost type, we had seen almost all of them in the region of, like, the United Kingdom area, Germanic areas, and then the Middle East, which is kind of all kind of centralized in one place on the map, on the world map, whereas Ures are in Nihon. Did I say that right? Japan. Like it's
I think
specific.
so.
It's specific to that. Archie, please get in here and tell me if I'm wrong. Um,
It's weird because
thank you.
as somebody who is taking Japanese, it's sometimes it's spelled away, but then it's also pronounced differently. Like one of the kanji, it has a W, but it's not pronounced wa, it's pronounced ha. So yeah, it looks like Nippon, but it's like Nihon.
Okay.
But you can say it either way and not be entirely wrong.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of what it is that these are spirits or aspects of the soul that are in some way kind of ruined. Like, if we compare them to Western counterparts, these are spirits that couldn't get to a peaceful afterlife. They're here. They could not get to that next step in the afterlife from death. So they're here to fuck shit up. Usually you see them that these are spirits of those who had a very not nice death. That either it was a self-harm thing, or if it was a very violent death, a very sudden death, and also that there weren't proper rites done after death is a thing that could cause Yureis to be a thing. So even if they had a peaceful death, or like if you have to go through a list of things before you get to be a Yurei. Like it's not just like anybody who had a really violent death gets to be a Yurei. Like there is like a checklist almost that you have to hit the certain boxes before your spirit would be considered a Yurei. If that makes sense.
It does.
Like what it is, I guess, from my understanding, is that these spirits, the Yurei, they bring about, as a spirit, they bring about the same thoughts, those same energies to those that they haunt. So they come back and they're almost antagonists in that they are trying to get you to buy into doing something or putting yourself in a thought place, putting yourself in a situation where you're going to be disturbed or upset or feeling a very strong emotional reaction. And there's also the bit where Yureis, once they get you to that point, they'll kind of linger on the outskirts to wait until you're dying, and then they'll come back to finish the job, to stop that person from reincarnating, which to me is fucking wild.
No, that's it for you.
I love it.
But yeah, that's really all I have on them. It's just very interesting that it's very specific to that, because they have some images, like different paintings and stuff that I'm looking through, depicting a Yurei, and it really just be looking like that chick from the, what is that movie where she's in a well?
The
7
Ring.
days. Yeah, Ring. Thank you.
It is interesting because in Japanese folklore and mythology, there's many, many, many different types of like demons and spirits and those kinds of entities.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all kind of like honestly very specific, which I find interesting.
The other thing about Yureis that I found super fascinating is, in and of itself, it sounds like it's its very own type of thing. But then there are so many like subclasses of Yurei. Like Yurei is like the species. This is the like the generational thing. And it's very wild to like as a concept. That like it's almost like analogous to spirit, where like spirit is one thing, but then if you look down further, this type of thing is also a spirit because it falls under that category. So Yurei is very interesting like that, in that like respect rather.
Yeah.
There are some they use to explain events that happen. Like other cultures have gods, goddesses that control stuff, Japan has the yokai. Oh. That is good to know. Thank you, Archie.
Well, it's like, remember when we were talking about one of our other last season Bosom Baddie things, and Al brought up the stone.
Yeah, the fox spirit lady.
Yeah, the kitsune. Yep.
Yes. I love the Kitsune.
What about it, brother?
Oh, it's things that it's a very specific type of spirit. And just tying into how they explain things.
I mean, it's definitely that there's a lot of it's clear to me that there's a lot of thought behind, like, it's not just like a thrown together folklore, that these things are these names, these different definitions are very important to that whole cultural concept of like what happens beyond death in situations where reincarnation is not possible. I like it. I like the attention to detail. Nine-tailed fox, we're gonna watch Naruto now. No,
Yay.
last season we were doing an Are They Real segment. One of the Are They Real segments on cryptids, and we had talked about this crazy stone that cursed people. Or no, it was
I think that was the same episode we solved the tree.
We did solve the tree in that episode.
Yeah, we solved it. Proved it real. There you go. Boom. But for Yurei, it's really, you just find its purpose. You help it solve its purpose. The problem being is that the idea of like it's there for revenge and hatred, or that it's there because of some other issue, like unfinished business, that whole like in the game universe, that Yureis are always there for revenge, or they're always there to fuck somebody's shit up. You don't see a way for in game for us to help them achieve that goal necessarily, because they'll come after you rather than the object of their revenge. But in real world, in trying to get help a Yurei pass and go through, you would help them solve the issue that keeps them earthbound. And that's how they would get rid of them. It's super interesting. I really like it. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 personally. 8 out of 10 spookums. Maybe a 7 actually. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, just because if it's here for revenge, why the fuck is it trying to kill us? We didn't do nothing to it.
Yeah,
Did
go
nothing
find that dude.
wrong.
I can find that dude's address. You can go help them. You help them, not me.
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
7 out of 10 spookums.
Kitsune was trapped in the stone. She had killed Japanese emperors and stuff. She was a demon, never human. We actually went into great detail and discussion about that. So if you haven't seen that episode, it is up on YouTube. I would for sure check it out, because we went through a lot of different folklore stuff in that one topic on that episode.
And we actually solved something.
And we solved something.
I think it's nuts that we talked about that tree, and it was just like, wait, I know I just read something about this.
Yeah, I was like, I feel like I know about a thing like that, and then it just happened to like all correlate.
Yeah. What was it? The Jabberwocky or the dragon that was like, you know, a cryptid in ancient times was actually just a giraffe. Like sometimes cryptids are actual things we just don't know about.
Is it magic, or is it just science we don't know about yet?
Yeah,
Right.
speaking of, because like the Komodo dragon,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people believed it was a cryptid for the longest time, because when people like describe it, they're like, oh yeah, there's no creature that's actually like that, and then they actually saw it and like, oh,
I guess there is one. Weird.
It's real. That's scary.
mm-hmm.
Well, I think for the Yurei, that's all I really have. We've got 7 out of 10 spookums. And the last entry we have, brother,
is an oni.
is an Oni.
Ooh.
So
Take it
we're
away.
sticking with the Japanese theme here.
we've now delved into this. In the game, on the journal entry, Onis love to scare their victims as much as possible before attacking. They're often seen in the physical form, guarding their place of death. The strength is that Oni are much more active whilst people are nearby, and will drain their sanity faster when manifesting. Their weakness is that Oni will disappear less often while hunting their prey. You can tell it's an Oni by the evidence of EMF level 5, freezing temperatures, and dots.
So I looked it up because that's one of those things when it's being translated into English from like Japanese. When I was first introduced to it, the way, because I read a lot of manga, don't get such a weeb. But so when I first was introduced to it, the simplest way it was shown was like, oh, Onis are just demons. But there's much more to it than, oh, Oni means demon.
Yeah.
It's like at its most base, yeah, you can say it like that if you wanted to make it super simple for somebody, but that's not quite what it is. It is a demonic creature, often of giant size, strength, and fearful appearance, and they are generally considered to be of foreign origin, thinking to be introduced into Japan from China along the same time as Buddhism. And this is why I brought up earlier the whole religious thing, because some beliefs that Oni can be converted to Buddhism, and that will make it so they are no longer evil. And I thought, it's interesting that like that's kind of
That's the solve.
Yeah, the same with like the Jinn, and they're known for just being like evil nature manifested in propensity for murder and cannibalism. And notwithstanding their evil reputation, Oni possess intriguingly complex aspects that cannot be brushed away simply as evil. They are typically portrayed as hulking figures with one or more horns growing out of their heads.
I like a good booty.
And
Thank you, Thrall.
And so they and they're in a lot of stories, especially ones where somebody needs to overcome something. And a very popular story that, Al, you may have seen if we're reading the same,
Yes.
or translated roughly, Peach Boy.
Yep.
And it's a very interesting story. I kind of read up on it a little bit. Basically, Momotaro is found in a peach by this couple who can't have kids. They name him Momotaro, Momo meaning peach, and Taro meaning eldest son. And he literally came out of a peach. And then he leaves his parents to go fight some Oni that have been terrorizing the island that they dwell on. And it's kind of like a stereotypical kind of good overcoming evil sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it is a very popular story in Japan.
Peach Boy saves the day.
Woo! That's their boy.
Yeah, okay, I said a Buddhism. Leave me alone.
It's okay.
Well, if you think about it, if it's a peach-shaped booty.
It's a peach-shaped booty. So yeah, I just found it interesting, because usually it's like, see, somebody says Oni, and again, it's just one of those translation things coming over. People think it's just a general term for demon, but it's not. It's a specific type of kind of demonic creature.
It's very interesting. I saw something about the Oni saying that it was a type of yokai, which will be a next episode thing. And specifically that it was equated to an orc or an ogre.
Yeah,
in the folklore.
If you look at depictions of them, like the hulking figure, the horns, they are often depicted as using like clubs. So I think that's why if you use like more like a Western equivalent, it would be something like that.
That's super cool. I love that. But it's really interesting to me that this is included in the game, because we don't like how the game UI works is you don't see like there's not a distinct like this ghost image, like the image that we have for a ghost is specific to how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're never gonna have, oh, it looks like the bitch from The Ring, we know for a fact it's going to be a Yurei. It's not
Mhm.
like that. Um, but it's very interesting that with Onis having such a connection to their size,
Yeah,
that's
and I feel
there.
like that's something that like Phasmophobia could play into. Like, it doesn't have to look like exactly to make it, a little harder. It doesn't have to look exactly like an ogre kind of being. It could just be like a big hulking man kind of thing.
Yeah.
And and like a banshee is always a woman looking figure, things like that. So it could help you along the lines of being able to determine what it is. And I feel because a lot of these ghosts that we talk about and spirits and whatnot, like a spirit or a phantom or a poltergeist, those can all be different things because it's such a broad term. But then other ones have more specific shapes. Like a mimic, or what's the other one that changes shape? The obake?
Obake.
Okay, yep.
That one, like maybe at first we see it and we're like, oh, it's this. But then the next time we see it, it looks different. And you're like, oh, wait, it can't, kind of thing. So I just think that could be interesting. I don't know, with ones that tie so heavily into certain appearances, especially since seeing that they've been heavily dipping into more Asian inspiration, like the Yurei, the Yokai, the Oni, the Goryo, which are all Japanese based. I feel like they should tie more into that. And I don't know. I feel like with the Oni, it's not very super accurate. I would give it like a 5 out of 10 spookums personally.
I was actually thinking 5 out of 10. So,
Yeah, I have to agree. 5 out of 10.
okay.
Hey, we're
So
all in agreement.
we're about halfway through the list. And I think this is a good stopping point. As far as picking back up, right now we're we're halfway through the list. I know it looks like all of the dates for season 2 are booked. So, I pose this question to you, brother, cuz you are bookmarked for next week.
Mhm.
Do you want to co-opt that for a baddies continuation of this?
I am fine with that. I was looking forward to our doll talk, but I'm also fine with continuing this conversation because I don't like leaving things unfinished.
Thank you for understanding. Thank you for understanding that I'm crazy and I'm like, oh, we're not gonna get through it all today. And like, I figured that out like 5 ghosts in. I'm like, we're not gonna get through all this today.
Yeah, I was like, oh
Mm.
no.
Yeah, so let's do that then. Let's plan on next week picking up where we left off, with the yokai, and we'll do that. But now that we've kind of gone through some of this, doll
Absolutely not,
talk, I'm
potato.
sure we can find some around. Please don't fucking do that. No. Tell my husband stop. I don't like
Stop
dolls. They're
it.
creepy. Don't do it no more.
Oh, I have so many stories and
Too
things to
many.
talk about when we do talk about that. But yeah, I'm totally fine continuing this next week. Because yeah, I realized that too when we were talking. Like, even if we gave 10 minutes to each ghost, there's 24 ghosts. That's 240 minutes. That's 4 hours.
Yeah, and that's not we do a lot of talk. Yeah,
That's disgusting. Why do you live in that house?
What?
Sorry, I was just reading his comment.
no, that's fair.
Don't live there, Bunny. Don't live there.
It's okay.
Oh no, it's
So,
not okay.
all right. So we've gone over that. We've got a game plan for continuing this talk.
That's how you get haunted dolls.
It is how you get haunted dolls. I think
Mhm.
this is definitely a good stopping point.
Mhm.
If you guys, I know you're trying to stream some more. We're gonna have some more content dropping on Happily Morose coming
Yay!
up.
I think part of it is I need somebody to hold me responsible. Like, you need to do this.
Internet, get in all of the Happily Morose videos and just start commenting.
Aw.
Please post.
Shut
Please
up.
post. Tell us more about how Teddy Roosevelt is beautiful.
I could. I could do that.
We could do that. We could do that.
It
But
could be a thing.
yeah, and be sure to check out Ty. Get on her to be like stream. Do something. I believe in you. Spring break.
Do it.
Fuck you, I
Um,
won't do what you tell me.
Yes, you will.
well,
I'm not the bottom here, ma'am.
You're the bottom of the bottom.
You're the
Wait.
oh,
bottom of the
what?
bottom.
When next vigil? Just
Vigil.
like that. Just like that.
Just like that. Okay.
It's like that.
Yeah, so we'll plan on next week. We'll pick back up. We'll go
Mhm.
through this list. It will be beautiful. We will have a beautiful time. And now that we're kind of going to the end, we're going to this little part right here. Did anyone redeem a raid thing? Does anybody on? My Twitch is not loading for some reason, and it's making me feel some type of way, so I can't even tell.
No. I don't know if anyone's on for raid, but I've been saving up. I'm like, I'm gonna do
There's
this.
only one person I follow that I don't know if you follow them. If they're a friend, it's Luva, LUUVA_.
Why is my cat streaming right now? Yes. Yes. What is Cat Strike? I love her. So she's back. I don't know if you guys have followed Cat Strike. She is she's a fucking doll. We love her. She's not a scary doll. To be clear, I want to clarify that, brother. She's not a scary doll. She's cute.
She's not a scary at all. Okay, because I've got some trauma with dolls, man.
She got shut down. Twitch stopped her for a bit, and they were like,
Why?
"You can't." Because she was doing a Twitch. I think she was doing a stream where Naked and Afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you mod pretty much everywhere, zombie. I also don't know why my Twitch is not fucking working, but it's not. And it's alarming to me. But yeah, I mean if you guys are cool with it, I think yeah, let's do cat cuz I love cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also one cat to another, I feel like you would understand.
Meow.
It showed a bum. Oh yeah, it was a bum. There was a bum on the screen.
Oh no, not a bum.
Oh
I was at work when it happened, and I was like, "Oh."
Oh Jesus Christ. Oh yeah, but we can have the freaking titty streamers basically showing all of the goods in their little bikinis.
no. All the goods.
Don't say it like that, Al. That's so very weird.
Yeah, especially since you're asexual. It just comes across as so weird, man.
Have you checked your bum hole? But yeah, so let's do that. Internet, again, very happy that you joined us today. Tune in next week for this exciting conclusion of Phasmophobia, Are They Real? Edition with the Bosom Baddies. I hope you guys have a wonderful, spooky Saturday. I can't remember how to set up a raid because apparently I'm an idiot today. I'm cute. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Is it?
Isn't it slash raid?
Oh, it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then, is it? My Twitch isn't loading, so I can't even copy paste her name. I don't know what's going on with my Twitch, and it's making me very angry.
Be here or be haunted.
Be here or be haunted. Can you, God damn it. Hold on one second. I'm so sorry, internet. I am.
Potato. Technical
Please
difficulties.
help me.
Potato help.
Help me. I'm having a problem.
Hey.
That's all you had to do. You're a beautiful bean. Yes, internet, please show Cat some love. If you haven't already done so, get on the YouTubes, subscribe to Happily Morose so you can be updated for when that sick Minecraft video posts and for other really cool content. We will see you for Spooky Saturday next Saturday. And we will we'll see you later, I think probably tomorrow for some more Don't Open the Doors gameplay. And I'm going to tell you right now, regardless if anybody redeems it or not, I'll refund you if I have to. Tomorrow I will be raiding into Thrall Owen, who is going to be doing his first ever subathon.
Nice.
So you should probably also check that out in case you didn't know that. I remember how to do this one. Boom, Thrall Owen. Bam. There, do it. All right. I love you guys. Thank you again for hanging out. Thank you, Shadow, for the raid earlier. You a real G. And I love you guys. Have a great day. How do I hit the raid button? Because I can't do it.
Oh no. I don't know how to help.
I'm having technical difficulties, people. I don't know what's happening, but I need help. I need an adult. I need an adult. is what needs to happen. And I don't know how to solve my problems without violence.
Oh,
Violence is key.
Oh, it did it.